Okay, well, here we are. We have the gang assembled. It's time to talk some Destiny. We've got myself. We've got Chudlord. You can see him on the stream. He's the strawberry looking guy with the goofy face. We've got Adam with the camera. We've got just Jay, or J-Kai with, looks like the wingman icon, right?
Yeah.
And then at the bottom is Mezzo, that's Michael. I actually don't even know what your icon is. I was even looking at it.
I can't tell either.
I think it's still the SpongeBob one. Oh, you know what? No, it's not that. That's from a game.
That is
It's from
SpongeBob.
You don't
no,
even
no,
know.
I took that one off. It's from a. Yeah. I'm gonna get pissed off because I forgot the name of the game now. Well,
That's all
I'll
good.
figure it out eventually.
Yeah. And then finally we have Sean at the end with the sexy Waluigi picture. We're missing one other Michael tonight. But we're gonna give as much detail and talk about Destiny as we kind of figure out like our expectations and maybe predictions going into the season. So initially I kind of want to start off and say, like, what did you guys think of the dev stream that we got?
Trash. I'm just kidding.
Boom, there it is. Trash, okay?
I didn't watch it.
Didn't watch it. Okay, this is good. We're on fire right now.
I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It looks very interesting. I think it's the
one of
last
the-
one before the expansion, so it's kind of like those are usually pretty good. It's usually the first one after the expansion comes out is terrible. The middle one's okay, but the one that comes out right before the next expansion is usually the good one. So, got high hopes.
Yeah. No, I agree. To be honest, I'm still, I haven't been playing, since the beginning. So I guess I still kind of have a fresh mind for the most part. It's kind of limited in like the things that I know about the game, but it feels like the dev stream was promising as to, kind of touching back to the things that were popular with Destiny. Because I know Oryx was a big figure in, the time where, people were, I guess it was Taken King, right? That's where he was prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, doing the raid with you guys too. Super fun raid. Doing Ghost of the Deep was fun. I know people didn't like that, but that was the first dungeon I was able to do by myself. I really enjoyed it. And just being able to bring back the characters that made Destiny great. I think it's cool to go back to it. And I think Oryx is still that figure that is still fun for people to come back to before we, supposedly leave the system, right? That's what I've been hearing.
I hope so.
A lot of that stuff
Didn't
got
like
scrapped.
Yeah, I did.
I can't remember like where I read it, but I'll have to probably look it up. But I could have swore I read somewhere that that for Frontiers, and I know we're talking about Heresy, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but it's not that the story for Frontiers is not going to be linear anymore. Where it's not going to be like something that's going to be continuing further. It's just something on the side. It's where it's going to explore different things and whatnot. Which I hope it does, because I can't imagine like going further and further and further down the road of like trying to figure out what the next big bad is, but more or less trying to figure out like other sad stories or even going back into the past and kind of seeing other things about that. So I don't know, we'll see. But I'm kind of glad there's I have to look it up and because I could have swore I read it, but yeah, I read something where it's just like that's not going to be linear in Frontiers, so which I hope so.
It from before like Sony and stuff getting in front of it, Frontiers did sound like that it was going to be exploring more. It wasn't going to be looking for a new like cosmic big bad or anything, like nothing on this, not yet, at least nothing on the same level as like Traveler or Witness, but it was probably going to be focused around like going to Reese where the Elixni came from, or going to Tora Bottle where the Cabal came from, and like aiding in those and helping with those, and maybe like getting choices on which place you go to help, and then going to other places, maybe revisiting the home world that the Hive came from, and all that stuff, and maybe reestablishing certain things in that area with Savathun and all this stuff. It was all supposed to be, from the sound of it, we're going to be leaving the solar system, and it wouldn't be a cosmic level type thing, but there's still be some paracausal things in it. But
Well, I mean, isn't there
a lot of
still
it got
like stuff
scrapped.
left over? Isn't there
There's
stuff left over from Salvation's Edge? Like after you beat the Witness, he says that he's basically not the main dude.
yeah, so that's why I don't think they're gonna go straight to him, because he did make that
Yeah.
reference that he's not the
Winnower.
yeah, the
winnower.
winnower. He's
Yeah.
the first knife, essentially, or is that's what he called himself. But as far as, I don't think we were going to necessarily jump straight into him.
Yeah, I don't think so
Um,
either.
Yeah, I think he was going to
Probably
be in something build up later.
Yeah,
but-
it's gonna be like a spider web of events building up to that, like you said.
But this is all pre Sony. Now that it's Sony, right, that got involved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
and,
basically
Yeah, everything's
Bungie at this
changed.
point.
Like Frontiers isn't necessarily what it. Are they still calling it Frontiers? Because I thought they scrapped even the name.
it's like Project Apollo and then some other project.
Well, Codename Frontiers is like the next, like it's not the expansion. It's Apollo.
Yeah,
It's their codename still. We don't have the actual.
yeah. But
The actual name,
Frontiers is
yeah.
the next like journey. It's like
Yeah.
moving forward. It's Apollo and Behemoth are the next two expansions, but they're just codenames. We don't have an actual codename.
Yeah, but they said pretty much everything got scrapped. And as far as like, that could still be the overarching thing, is to leave the solar system. But from the sound of it, a bunch of stuff got scrapped, but they just aren't really saying what's changing yet, because they haven't really talked about, because they're going to a
They
new system of the two mini expansions each year instead of one
That's
big
not-
one. And
Rise of Shadowkeep too. Don't
Yeah.
forget that. So it's
I
kinda,
wish they like. I'm kind of glad they kind of scrapped that, because like I think what would honestly work best is like just investing in the stories that we currently have right now, rather than thinking of something brand new. I mean, because there still is a lot more that hasn't been talked about, and there's so many loose ends, and there's so many other things that need to be explored currently, rather than exploring brand new things. So I really hope they did scrap a lot of it, because it just did kind of seem like a little sus of them going into new waters like this, especially with all the stuff that's been happening. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm more interested in I mean, we'll see how that goes based on how Heresy turns out story-wise, and what the heck is going on there with everything, because I'm just more curious to see what Oryx is doing. Like I think it's actually kind of funny that it's like Oryx is actually kind of like in a way, quote unquote, back, and there's like a Star Wars collaboration too. It's like
The
somehow
Star Wars
Oryx.
thing was
That is
ever
strange,
turned-
right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Oryx
But
is Darth Vader. Oh my god.
yeah,
No, Oryx is
Um,
Palpatine. Somehow Palpatine came back.
but for real, I know. Yeah, but also too, like, not to be a nerd, it's like he's never really went away. He was just on that one gun, whatever it was, the touch of mouse.
Well, his body, remember, his body is at the end of that dungeon. Goes to the deep. His body's there.
Yeah, his body's
And
there, but it's like
they were
his
trying
actual.
to bring him. They were trying to bring him back.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I imagine they
stopped
used
him.
the Echo to bring him back.
I don't know if they
That's-
retconned that, because it's like because I remember like in D1, like he put himself like what was it, the touch of malice, that is also Oryx in that little like taken thing, because it was like he's able to, like, he did something to where he's able to fully grow and get stronger and stronger, and that's why he's inside a gun now. It's like an end all thing for him, but somehow it's like now like and of course he fell down into Ghost of the Deep, and then they were trying to revive him, but then again it's like also what's up with Touch of Malice and all that stuff. It's like D1 Grimoire lore combined with D2 lore, which I don't know what has been retconned or not, because I know there's been a little bit that's been retconned, but I don't know.
As far as that, so he could still be in, like, they could still have both, because he could still be in Touch of Malice. In Ghost of the Deep, we stopped them from achieving that. They tried. So originally, Savathun tried to bring him back as a guardian hive or whatever. Like she was brought back and stuff like that, but it didn't work. So they were doing a ritual that would kind of force it to work, but we don't know that could have, if we had let that go, it could have failed. because Touch of Malice wasn't there. If Touch of Malice was there and to get the soul out, or they perform the ritual on Touch of Malice, then it might work. We don't know if the ritual would have worked, so that still leaves that as a viable story piece that
Guys,
he could
and
still be in the gun.
I hate to. We got breaking news. This just in: an exotic is getting banned for contest mode. In a couple weeks, we're about to find out which one it is. Let's take a look. This is on stream if you can't see it, but we're gonna go ahead and ban one exotic weapon. Let's see which one it is.
Oh my god.
Let's find out. Buildcrafter's about to be in shambles.
So many exotics in the game.
Quicksilver Storm. See you later, bud. You're out of here. Quicksilver Storm is
What
gone.
would be the exotic that they would nerf though?
Unlucky.
It has to be the new one, if anything.
Let's go ahead and add that to our watch list. I mean, we'll keep bringing in the news as it happens. But sometimes it, you just never know what's going to get banned on contest mode.
If you don't have Galahorn, dude, you're getting kicked, bro.
It's Ratkin calling it now.
It's gonna be Darcy that they buffed.
This just in. The next one's probably exotic armor. Brace yourselves.
But did those snipers that sniper archetype get buffed? If not, it's gonna be.
The archetype specifically did not, but snipers as a whole got a 10% damage buff.
That's it. Trash. Nope. Ain't gonna replace my linear.
Because linear's fusion rifles got a buff, and so did linears, I think.
There we go.
Plus, this next season with the artifact perk, dude, Euphony about to go hard because it's a strand.
Yep. Bungie does everything they can to botch snipers. I don't get it.
I feel like it's because they had one really good meta, and they're like, never again. It's just Dado says the same
I remember
thing.
like
He's just
snipers
like,
being
they were broken,
Let's,
and then ever since then they were like, no, we're not doing that again.
Let's talk about the artifact. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward here through the VOD. Here it is, the Tablet of Ruin. First impressions of the Tablet of Ruin. Either the perks or just the theme itself. What do we think about it? I kind of think it seems pretty cool. I like the idea of like bringing back the linears. I know particle reconstruction was a pretty popular perk. And then you love to see glaives up there too. That's going to be a big piece later on in the season, I'm sure.
Well, particle deconstruction was the original perk.
Oh, you're
and
right.
that was
Sorry.
just a straight if you did damage with a fusion, the target got a debuff. But I mean, this looks pretty good. I mean, Vex Mythoclast, Euphony, especially since Euphony specifically, since it's Strand Arc Void. Euphony's gonna hit hard, especially there's one, I think it's, I don't know if they hovered over it, but like sustained damage with a strand weapon generates threadlings on top of, or an unraveled target, sorry. On top of what Euphony already does, that's gonna be
on top of
like
the strand support auto rifle. I think that generates, or it's unravels enemies, right? Something like that. Like whoever you're supporting.
So when you're so when you heal whoever you're healing, periodically they'll spray out a few like unraveling shots, so that'll start unraveling enemies as you're healing them.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of there's a big emphasis on arc, and then I could kind of see a lot of void specific, or it looks like to me void specific artifact perks. But I think Strand is probably a big sleeper with some of the stuff that they're going to be adding, especially because one of the exotics is Strand, isn't it?
Yes, I
think so.
Yeah, the submachine gun.
The SMG
I don't know when we're getting that though.
It's probably going to be another mission.
That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know why they would show it so early.
Dude,
because they're supposed to have they're supposed to have a Pantheon-esque activity towards the end of this episode, so I'm not sure. Yeah, they said they were going to bring one back towards the end of this episode, I believe.
Might actually play.
So they're also like Act 2 is only 4 weeks, so they're like, I feel like this episode is going to be shorter than we think. Because, I mean, look at this. It says Act 2 releases in 29 days. The build was from 12/9, I think. And then Act 3 releases in 50 days. I mean, that is not a long season.
That's like a month and a half.
That's 3 months about, because they were already 10 days in, so maybe I'd say maybe.
But they're also dripping
2
it,
months.
right? Where it's going to be like almost every week ish.
The story, yes. So the activity for each act is going to drop day 1. So everything that you can do for the act that was supposed to release with the act is going to drop. It's the story beats that are going to change every week.
Gotcha.
So you still have access to, like, instead of having to wait a week for this gun and a week for this gun, it's everything drops at the beginning of that act. It's just the story beats that they have you come back for every week instead of everything in once and you do it in an hour.
Yeah.
And people are gonna make a farm. Are these weapons craftable, or are they gonna be like this act where, or this episode where you have to get the perks and look out?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna go over that. I just want to kind of stick with Chris's thing right now as far as the artifact goes. Does anybody have any other?
What's the element focus on it?
It's Arc Void, and Strand.
Yeah.
Void and Strand. Okay.
And
we can
wait
take
for
the
a
direction
Geomax
anywhere.
stabilizer build.
Well, they're buffing
Honest-
Chaos Reach, I think. Or not Chaos
Good.
Reach. They're buffing Geomags, actually.
Good. I love using that.
We are so
damn
back, man. Hopefully it doesn't get banned.
I'm not gonna lie,
Solid.
Arc Warlock's eating good this one. That little Arc Buddy thing, the little bolt turret thing or whatever, that thing looks nasty.
Yeah, let's go over that. Like the new changes to the classes. Let me find it in here. We can start with the Warlock.
Oh yeah, starting with Warlock. I see how it is.
Just
Well,
a little bit of favoritism. Trying to
Ionic
find a-
Sentry, that's what it's called.
You guys talk about your Warlock. I'm gonna go get crayons.
I think I passed it. Is it early on in the
Yeah, I
video?
think it's a little earlier, yeah. And he uses it like throughout. It's in this area while they're running through the mission.
Huh. I'm trying to find the part where they look at the actual.
Oh, they talk
aspect.
about it. Oh, there you go.
Oh shit! Guys, don't look.
Oh, this guy.
Don't look. That's what I get for having my push to talk on my back button.
A very specific thread that we're going to be seeing this episode. Yeah. Gave Chase abilities.
Here we go.
Because
Okay, so that's Titan.
any barricade you tap something, it's
There you go.
Okay, so yeah, let's start here. I mean, first of all, before we talk about it, I think it's kind of cool that we're getting another Arc season. I like playing Arc. I think maybe a lot of people do, honestly. I feel like I don't play it enough though, just because there's more self-sustain with Void and Solar. So it's nice when, you know, something that has like almost like the raw power of like just, you know, hitting yourself out and just mowing down, you know, red bars. It's really fun to like embrace this kind of class identity. I think Solar and Void have so many places in raid and dungeon spots that sometimes it's hard to find a spot for Arc.
Yeah, it's never been, at least on Warlock, that strong. I mean, Chaos Reach was meta for a long time because of Geomags. But I think, and just to point this out, there's no exotic armor this episode. There's no new armor. They, what's the word? Not forewent. They didn't make it in order to make the aspects. It was kind of like a one or the other.
That's interesting. I was expecting them to bring in some new ones because that's
a lot of
normal
people
thing, right?
thought to interact. Yeah, to interact with the new stuff, but they said I guess the development time went into, instead of making armor, to make the aspects, because with Final Shape, Warlocks got a new Solar one, but they already had like Hunters got a new Arc one, and then which means Titan and Warlock didn't get one, and Titan got a new Void one, Warlock's got a new Solar. So like they're trying to balance it out. So that's why Hunter got Void, because Hunter was missing a Void one, because we had Warlocks had gotten Child of the Old Gods a long time ago, and so they're just trying to balance it out. So that's why it was 2 Arc and 1 Void, is because Titan and Warlock didn't have an extra Arc one, but Hunter did with Ascension. So it seemed a little weird at first. After they explained it, it made sense. But at first it was like, that seems weird to only have 2 and then randomly avoid, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. What do you think, Michael, since you're also a Warlock main? Oh, he might be driving. He's probably busy. Okay. I mean, no, you're good. What do you think about the Ionic Sentry?
I can't wait for it. Make a turret build. Here I come.
Dude, I know, right?
I'm about to have every single freaking buddy out there, dude.
You pull out the no time to explain too, stack them all.
Exactly.
There's a lot of potential to go AFK while building, into
Yeah,
turrets
I'm trying,
and sentries and
I'm
shit.
trying to AFK farm on Destiny, dude.
Yeah. I think fantasy-wise, I think it's a pretty cool idea. I think they really lean into that as far as the Warlocks go, because they have, the Helion, they have the Child of the Old Gods, they have the Arc Soul, the Threadlings. Like, it's all about like that fantasy of the Warlock controlling, like, or I guess like
Minions, if you want to say. It's not minions, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, and the stasis turret too. Like, it just, they lean harder into that, and I think that's a good thing to do for Warlocks. It might get out of control if they continue to do it, but we'll see how it plays out. Okay, let's do the Titan now. Unless you wanted to add anything else.
I was just gonna say, also with the buffs that they're doing to Arc, it's gonna be pretty nice. Not just for Warlocks, but for every Arc class.
True. Yeah, we haven't talked about
how they're granting
charges.
like damage resistance and things like that. That's gonna be nice.
Yeah. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about this is it also blinds when it's summoned, which is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that huge for just champion deconstruction. Just like at some points in dungeons or not dungeons, but Grandmaster Strikes or anything that has champions, sometimes they just swarm out and squads of 3 and 4. So having something like this as part of your toolkit can definitely be useful. Okay, let's hit the Titans now and hear from Titan mains. Here it is, Striker.
See, and I hate to sound like a pessimist. I'm just not excited for it. Because it's like Titans have had something going on for a while, and we don't really have we can have a fun toolkit, but when it comes to necessity, there's really not much that's really going on other than just like we're gonna have like Falling Star, or we're gonna do Consecration, or just something other of weapon DPS or whatnot. So the changes are cool, but I'm not. It's just mostly just like a sidestep. It's just like, okay, cool, there you go. Awesome. I don't see it being anything too monumental or too groundbreaking. No pun. But I think it's. We'll have to see, because a lot of how it synergizes with the artifact, and also in how it works with different weapons and whatnot. At first, it doesn't seem anything too crazy, but then again, once we start getting the mechanics for the new dungeon and other activities and whatnot, that may change. But given track record of everything, I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're right, and I think Jake, did you have anything that you wanted to add to that before I say anything? Okay, he may not be here. He's also Titan main, so I wanted to hear his opinion on it as well. So I have heard that, and I think it kind of falls in line with, like, what are Titans supposed to be, because sometimes there are mechanics in fights where you just can't go in and punch or like get in close, where like that's how they initially built the identity of Titans. And they it feels like they are kind of missing that. But one thing that one of the devs mentioned is that the barricade gives those bolt charges, and I think you're right. It depends on how the season and the artifact unfold and how strong bolt charges actually are, like the tuning for them and the synergy for it. But it kind of, I like the idea of it. It's actually, I haven't said anything about it, but I might actually play around with maybe some Titan builds going into contest mode, just because having bolt charges on command, which it sounds like it won't be too hard to come by them in fights already, but just to have them as like, I go stand behind the barricade for also, not getting shot, and then also getting a damage boost. That seems like a really big boon. It really depends on how quickly those bolt charges are replenished behind your barricade, because it could be very strong defensively and, hopefully offensively for, damage phases.
Yeah, the only thing that comes to my mind is that is is like a rip Nezarec when people using Thunderlord when using also a barricade. It's just like I know there's some people who use DPS for like Thunderlord and just go and have it be just like a dad build or whatnot, but that's the only thing I can really think of bolt charges really coming in handy of it, because if I'm not mistaken, it just shoots out like a lightning bolt right after certain stacks.
I believe so. I don't remember. Oh, at maximum stacks. Yeah, maximum stacks does lightning bolts.
Okay.
Also, just want to backtrack. Did you say a dad build?
Yeah.
Okay, because you were describing exactly what I used.
Because I do that. So as a dad as well, like I am a Thunderlord chill. That thing is too good for what it is, and people whenever I do raid, they're like, "Oh, you should not use them." I'm like, "Well, suck my ass. I'm gonna use it." So. Like it does good work, and I can see Thunderlord being being pretty good with the changes to Arc. But that's the thing though, because we won't know, because Bungie tries to so hard, and this is just the same story, just different whatever. They try hard to change the meta, but ultimately the meta comes down to what the players want to make it, and based on what they design, rather than what's given to us on the artifact or what's given to us on the weapons or whatnot, because we're such a creative community anyway. So it's going to be really interesting to see what exactly, how viable this will all be based on endgame content. Because at the end of the day, if it's just not going to work, just go back to Prismatic and then just do whatever we've been doing and forget the verbs and just go ham on weapons. So it's like, and this is where I guess like I'm getting kind of like I'm not getting over it, but I'm just like, it's just the same stuff where I'm just like, okay, I know they're wanting to change, but based on history, let's see if it actually does something.
Yeah, fair point.
I mean, with Thunderlord, like Thunderlord's getting changed a little bit too. So it's working in synergy with Bolt Charge. I mean, I think this is going to be better than people will probably make it out to be, because I was watching the video of when they announced the aspect, and in like, I want to say 3 seconds, he had 10 stacks of Bolt Charge, because it's on top of, if you're using an art weapon, sustained damage gives you, like it says, it gives you a Bolt Charge. So behind the barricade, you're also generating it. And then if you're using Thunderlord, it gives you, with every lightning strike, you get a stack of Bolt Charge. So if you're using Thunderlord with that shield, you're probably going to get it every couple seconds. And according to Bungie, again, we have to actually run the numbers once we're in game, but it hits pretty hard. It could be a decent damage option. It just depends if it actually is. But it's also, like you said, is it gonna be enough to take me off of, if I'm gonna run Arc, I'm just gonna run Curious, right? So yeah. I get that. It's gonna be a new toy for people to play with, but I think it really just depends on, like you said, if the damage numbers can actually, because that takes more to build into. Curious, you get more melee energy when you're amplified. Not amplified. Is it amplified? Yeah, that's the change they made. You get more melee energy when you're amplified, and then you get a pretty hard-hitting super. It's like, do you really want to trade that out? Which you could still actually run with this, because this is just an aspect. So you can still run Curious with this. So I guess it could still work.
Yeah, no, it can. Yeah, my biggest curiosity is to see how it works when you have your surge mods with the Arc. How it works when Titan, because whenever I would run Titan, like I would swap, hot swap Curious and Actimore rig whenever I would run Thunderlord. Yeah. So that way I can just be really quick with like unloading everything and then switch back and pop super and then switch back and whatnot. That kind of and I know Bungie doesn't quite like the players doing that, which I don't get, but that all depends on also too if whatever big bad that we're going against, whether it be like on the dungeon or whether it be like on the story mode or the new activity, if that is viable. And based on and this is where it gets kind of confusing, because if you look at the track or if you look at the artifact mods, they're not usually indicative of what the DPS meta will be, because I think like what this artifact mod, like what we have grenade launchers, if I'm not mistaken, like yeah, that's like the big DPS thing. Do we even like now? I guess just to kind of sidebar, like, do y'all really use GLs a lot?
All the time.
Well, the area denial ones, hell yeah.
The area denial.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
this season was crazy with it because GLs gave weakening after rapid shots, so
Yeah.
area denial cooked. But I mean, no, GLs aren't even on here.
No, it's just one of my linears, I think, right? Is it like
Linear,
Linears
particle?
and
Linear is the only one that I can see here at least is fusion rifles that have that buff, which is particle reconstruction.
Yeah.
wait,
The only thing
are
that comes to my mind is like, okay, there's going to be some sort of like crit. Like there's
is
gonna be
LMG
some-
getting something?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
There's a symbol there with an LMG and a glaive,
They hovered over it, I think. I don't know if they did.
like middle,
one?
top row, middle.
Oh, yeah. Let me
Call-
see.
I don't think they hovered over it. They mentioned it. They talked about it. Because they said machine gun users are going to get something good or something fun, but they didn't actually hover
yeah.
over it, I don't think.
Mm.
But machine guns, they don't want those to be meta damage either. That's the thing.
I
They don't
don't
want
get.
Grand Overture to be meta
Yeah.
damage.
Grand Overture is technically always meta damage. That thing is at the top of the DPS charts if you do it right. But depending on what that perk is, which it could be like precision damaging, I don't know. They never hovered over it, but
I need some precision damage with my glaive.
I'm thinking it's going to be fusions and linears, obviously because of particle deconstruction.
Could you imagine a glaive with precision damage?
I think
I'd be a
Euphony's going to
glaive
cook
main.
here, in my opinion.
Oh,
Like
what'd you say? I'm sorry.
Broodweaver.
What'd you say? Eddie, what'd you say?
I said I think Euphony's going to be like a monster next episode. Like with Broodweaver, it's just going to hit so hard.
Yeah, it could be crazy for sure. Before we, I want to get your take as well, JK, on the Titan fragment. I did hear Curious hit, like, it was mentioned probably like 5 to 10 times, and I really hope you guys aren't planning to build into it, because what if it gets banned right fucking now? Let's find out.
Oh shit. He's sending this list to Bungie, guys.
Yeah, I actually have insiders at Bungie, and it's Shinobu's Vow. Okay, you guys look out this time.
Oh. Yeah, Titans, you guys look out.
Yeah.
Shinobu's Vow Titans.
Okay. So JK, I'm gonna go back to the fragment here, and I want to hear your thoughts because I didn't think we gave you time to do that yet.
Oh, about the Storm's Keep.
Yeah. Just to hear what you think about it. Well, you said you didn't watch it, right?
Yeah, I did not watch it.
Okay.
Have you read the TWAB at all?
Nope. You know me, I like to be surprised.
Okay. That's fine.
But,
We'll or go ahead.
or
I can explain it if you want.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm just reading what Bolt Charge does. I get the general idea of what the Storm's Keep does. It's just to kind of encourage you to use Barricade more than the dash from the looks of it. But see maximum stacks and the ability damage generates powerful bolt of arc lightning at the target's location. That's interesting. But I would like to see how that works with Code of the Missile, because that's technically ability.
Yes. I think
So-
I don't know if it sticks with they described it as it just says ability.
Yeah, it just says ability, but technically, like I've had like supers count as ability damage, like whenever you're doing things that involve getting kills with abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
Supers count. So this would be interesting because then you pop Barricade, get Q stack a Bolt Charge, and then I would just have to see the damage, or I'd just have to see what this Arc Lightning, what that would do, like how it would stack if you used Curious, Code of the Missile, and then have all this Bolt Charge. Like, would they stack? What would it do? It's more than likely, from the sound of it, making you want to use the melee abilities just because you get melee energy back. Which I do like that, I don't remember the name of it, but the melee ability that launches out all that lightning. I do like using that, And you can do a lot of builds that help you keep getting that back, and then plus receiving the extra melee energy helps get that back too.
So let me crunch some numbers real quick while you're
Okay. Back, because I can't remember what season it was when Arc was a big deal. I ran a build. It was probably with
Wasn't it with Ghosts?
I think
Maybe
so.
I'm wrong. I remember there being water.
No. I don't think it was Ghost. Ghost, that melee one was strand base.
Gotcha. Okay.
As far as Arc, there was a season where Arc was a big deal, and it was with Inmost Light. That's the exotic I used. And you could just basically spam this ability all day. And it was fun. It's really good.
Was it the point
area
contact build?
clearance.
Or
There's a point contact one too that I used a lot as well. But I think it really just depends. It was between point contact and Inmost Light. I can't remember which one I used the most. Like it's
probably
fun for
Inmost Light at
area.
the time.
Yeah, I did have a point contact build that was really fun to use too. It was just Arc has been, survivability of Arc has been weak. Arc is still like fun to use, but I just wish there's more like
Survivability. Yeah.
exactly.
Well, they are
You just
buffing
can't-
that.
Yeah,
They're buffing
as long as
Arc
if the-
for
of
survivability.
Yeah, the survivability is the only weakness for, in my opinion, for Arc Titan.
If you want me to
Because
read that real
what is it?
fast.
Is it? It's knockout, right? That heals you.
Knockout, yeah.
Yes.
You have to run knockout. Like, if you don't, you're kind of screwed. Not kind of screwed. You're screwed.
So the
You're
slight
screwed.
changes they're making to Amplified is while you're Amplified, PvE combatants are now less accurate against you, similar to Mana Core. And then while Amplified, players have a 15% damage resistance against PvE combatant. So Amplified now has a
Interesting.
DR. That's really all they did. I mean, they changed some of the fragments, but it was mostly just to incorporate bolt charge. Kind of slightly not off topic, but I did the math. I watched the video and slowed it down. It looks like the lightning bolt charge did 62,379 damage.
Is it
my
just
God.
one hit?
It's one hit, but the main hit does 20k, and then there's 3 other little sparks that did 13,862.
Okay.
Okay.
See, that's not too bad. That's actually.
Yeah.
And
pretty good.
if you're using Thunderlord on top of that, you're getting bolt 10 stacks every 3 seconds maybe, and there's no
Yeah.
cooldown on it. Which
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
pretty
Like,
good.
I think Thunderlord would be the best option for it. That and like if you just throw in also a couple of the mods to where it's like you like use your grenade ability, get class energy back. There's gonna be tons of stuff to it. I just really hope that we can actually utilize it in like a really good way for like DPS or anything else like that.
Like I said,
Yeah.
if you can, from the sound of it, using your barricade, you get a bunch of charge. So you just pop barricade, get that charge, and then if you got Curious Code in the missile, if this stacks with the damage from that, and then you have like weakening on, that'd probably be a pretty good damage.
Also, another note, real quick. Sorry to interrupt. So Thruster will work with it. It says it gives a good
What?
chunk. So I'm assuming 5 or 6 stacks, and it gives you and your allies, your nearby allies, a chunk, as well as the melee energy that comes along with getting bolt charge. Because when you get a bolt charge stack, you get melee energy.
That's insane.
That's for all classes. So
Yeah,
if you
that
decide to
is
use Thruster, you can still give an instant chunk of bolt charge. It's
Okay.
still pushing you more towards barricade because it's the length of the barricade, which is what, 20 seconds of constant bolt charge, which I would assume is more for a damage phase or for a damage
Yeah.
build. But
Yeah.
if you want it as far as like an activity, you could probably still use Thruster and kind of generate that since you're not
Yeah,
stationary.
Rallying
The-
barricade, here I come.
That thruster with the melee energy and all that, you can make a pretty insane arc melee build. Build the charges back, boys.
Because they also buffed point contact, I believe. But I don't know if they did that last season or this.
Is the bolt charge gonna be single target damage, or is it gonna be like an AOE when it hits?
It's kind of an AOE, but it's. I don't think the radius is huge.
Or-
Interesting.
Because it's a
Plus,
lightning
there's-
strike like Thunderlord and Cloud Strike, but it's bigger. It does more damage, but it's not a huge AOE.
Yeah, I was
I mean-
trying to see like from a like an ad clear perspective on that.
I mean, I think if anything, it just indicates we're probably going to see contests cleared with 3 Titan teams just like constantly recharging bolt charges during boss,
It is possible,
damage
yeah.
phases.
Let's
Like that's
fucking
kind of
go.
insane.
Season
Like-
of the Titan.
Yeah,
We're
fuck
back,
warlocks
baby.
and fuck hunters. And speaking of hunters, let's talk about some hunters and give them some love. All right.
No,
I'll
let's
skip
skip
that.
that.
I have the
Yeah,
patch
okay, I'm
up,
skipping
so.
that.
They already get enough love.
We left.
Oh, I thought Sean left.
I thought Sean left too.
No.
He's like, I don't need to be here.
No.
So Sean, are you familiar with the new aspect?
No, not really, honestly.
Okay. You basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, you become a Giga Chad in 3 seconds and just rip and tear everything. There's like smoke cloud and everything. Your allies can stand in it. They're like, where the fuck am I? But they're getting healed at the same time, getting energy back. It's fucking crazy. If there's a better definition, I'd love for somebody else to explain it, by the way.
Sean doesn't need 3 seconds to be Giga Chat.
He
No.
already is one.
I mean, it's essentially the way they described it in the live stream was it's almost you're supposed to be like an assassin kind of thing. So basically, when you go invisibility, the first combatant I think you shoot is marked. When that target dies, a cloud of weakening smoke pops up. Everybody can run through it and get weakened again, which is essentially how you what's the word? You keep doing it. So once you go invisible again, you mark the next target and you keep going and going and going. And then, like it says on there, when you defeat that priority target, you and allies are granted grenade melee and class ability energy. How long? I don't know. It might be. It says for a short duration. Well, that's reload speed and stability. But I'm assuming it's a small chunk for those 3. But
Right.
it kind of feeds into that like Night Stalker kind of. And I believe that that's not just a smoke bomb. You can use anything that enters invisibility. So if you're using,
I was about to say Gear Falcons.
you can use it with Almanaculus too. I constantly have that up. But yeah, Gear Falcons would be probably really good with this. Plus, because there's also on the artifact, there's a weaken and volatile that play with each other there too. Where like defeating volatile targets or defeating weakened targets gives you volatile rounds or makes them volatile, and then that would make you invisible. It'll play into it really well.
I'm salivating at my Luminarch Gear Falcon build.
Oh god.
Yeah, I was like, that's something that can be really good gear fucking build.
He's not going to take off Graviton, so.
Hey.
It's his favorite gun, man. I've never seen him use anything else.
That's a lie. That's an absolute lie.
Wait,
Yeah, I
there's
think
other
it'll be
guns in the
strong.
game?
Totally guns in the game.
I was hoping to have Michael here so he could talk about it too, because he's a hunter main. But if I can add my thoughts for it, one of the problems I have with playing hunter is that you know, like it's just hard to survive sometimes. It's just hard to live. And it seems like having something like this as part of their kit just increases their survivability, but also gives group utility to help their allies regain their ability energy on top of like protect them, at least for a short duration. I'm a big fan of it. I don't know how it's going to feel as far as the play goes, but I think there's a lot of potential for hunters to spearhead a charge through like a wave of ads and get the group to safety through like a really dangerous part of the dungeon or a raid or whatever.
Yeah, I think this would be good in like GMs and stuff too.
Actually, that's probably where it's going to thrive. Yeah, that's a good point. I think GMs is probably because it's got the weaken, which weaken affects what? Is it the barrier champs or is it the...
Weaken doesn't affect any champs, but it is a 15% debuff.
Oh, I was thinking volatile. That's what I was thinking. Which
Yeah,
with the
volatile is
artifact-
barrier.
And with the
Barrier
artifact, those will stack really well against champions.
You think this is gonna play with the smoke grenade though?
Oh,
It
yeah.
does.
Like you're gonna just throw smoke and be able to walk into it and already go into on the prowl?
It plays with
well-
any form of invisibility from the looks
Yeah.
of it.
So anytime you enter visibility, the next target, I don't know if it's the one you look at or shoot. I imagine it's the one you shoot. Like it says, it marks it as priority. So once you kill that target that was priority marked, I assume it's gonna look like old foe tracer, I guess, or is it whatever Warlock exotic does that. Knucklehead radar, I think. Like that X that shows up, or what's it called? Cenotaph. How it marks the mini bosses or whatever. It's gonna look like that, I assume. And once you kill that target becomes that weakening cloud, which you run through and turn invisible again, and you just keep cycling through that. But
Would that work
as
with
far
hacking?
as oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's anti-invisibility.
Dang.
It's not like you have to weaken with a smoke bomb first and then that first target. It's anytime you enter invisibility, that first target you shoot, I assume, is going to be the one that's marked, and then you just chain it from there. So whether you dodge to go invisible, or you use a smoke bomb, or you're using Gare Falcons or something like that, as long as you enter invisibility and mark a target, you can start chaining it.
I think it has the potential to be a really fun mini game, but it also seems like it could succumb to the element of RNG if you're in a boss room and for some reason you go invisible, targets the boss instead of the fucking thralls that are right next to him. It's like, okay, well, my aspect's fucked there. I don't know if it'll do that, but I think as long as it's not targeting enemies that are incredibly difficult to kill, for the hunter, then I think it should be fine. I wonder if there's going to be synergy with the rest of the group where if he can call out the target, if it's a champion, for example, like kill this, the group can focus it down, the hunter gets the killing blow and then procs the aspect, which I think would be really fun communication wise. But I think it's going to be a hit or miss kind of thing. It's either going to be really good or it's going to be like, man, I'm never putting this on.
Yeah, because that the only thing that comes to my mind is just like, how is that going to replace, like, for end game stuff or even Grandmasters? Is that going to replace like Zenithaf or something like that? Like, is it going to be that much more worth it just to get like other thing? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. We'll see. It is cool though.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah, leans
Real
into the
question.
fantasy.
I think it definitely fits.
I feel like the real question is, does it work with patience and time?
Oh no.
I wish. I freaking wish.
I want Hereafter back.
I want No Land Beyond, damn it.
This is a hot take, but I think the D1 exotics need to stay in D1, and they do not need to come to D2.
Talking about sweet business.
Like, I'm getting sweet business. What?
Am I wrong? Is that not D1?
D2? No, that's a D2.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I'm just hosting this thing. I don't know shit. Keep going.
Oh, you're thinking of probably was it a super good advice? Maybe.
Yeah, super good advice.
Okay, I love that thing. As much as people shit on it, I love that thing.
That was Atheon Killmaster 2000 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude,
Imagine that with Actium War Rig. Oh shit.
Dude, no, I would be busting. Oh, I can't say that. I'm gonna give any crit.
No, you can say that.
Yeah,
be busting nuts.
No, I mean, I don't want to say excited because it's Destiny, dead game. I will say that I am
Piqued your interest.
My peaks have been peaked. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm more honestly, like, for me, being invested in this game as long as we have, at least for me, I don't really care about the gameplay loop. I'm more interested on the story. I want to see what happens because the biggest thing is that we're supposed to be finding out about Big Bertha. Like, I want to know what happens to Xivu. Like, and I'd be really freaking disappointed if she becomes an end mission boss.
I don't think so. I would.
I really hope.
I think the whole community would be so upset.
What if she becomes a dungeon boss?
Destiny, though. That's their specialty.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Dungeon boss. What about a dungeon?
I don't think a dungeon boss is acceptable either.
I'll see you guys in Sundered Doctrine.
I think that's the equivalent of putting Savathun as a dungeon boss. Like that. It's not. It's not good enough.
The only thing I can think of is because Savathun is technically not quote unquote dead. And now Oryx is not. I don't even know. Like, we'll find out what happens with that. The only thing I think of is that she's not going to be either a boss. She's not going to be a boss, but it's going to be something that's going to like tie narratively towards all three of them are going to be talkable, or like or something to where they're going to add to the narrative together. But us not fighting her specifically. Maybe like in a mission or so, but I don't think like we're going to be oofing her.
I think they'll like they're gonna include her and stuff in this, but I think they'll save her for if we actually do end up going to like Terra Bottle, because the Hive took over Terra Bottle, and they were led by her taking over. So I would assume she's in a power struggle near there somewhere.
Yeah.
I think
So,
like
I guess-
I mean it makes sense. I mean there has to be it's gonna be lore with her in the dungeon just because I mean she was a disciple, right?
No.
No, she wasn't. No, she
She wasn't. Oh, okay.
She's just basically a bitch for the witness.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah.
like
They were. Well,
So she wasn't a disciple, but she was working for the witness for her own gain.
They're
essentially.
they're hive gods. Hive gods are like so it's hive gods, worm gods, and then like disciples.
So it
Mostly
still
a
makes sense
groupie.
though, going
Yeah.
back to Rolk's pyramid ship. It still makes sense.
Yeah.
Because she's still tied into that hierarchy.
Are any of the other worm gods still alive? Or because I know we killed Zol, but
We killed Zol.
but
we
that
killed
was-
the
that
mother
was
of the worms. We killed the mother of the worms. I can't remember her name exactly.
Is
There's
it like
that
Akka
other
or something like that?
the mother.
something
The
like
mother
that.
is on Rolk's ship.
Yeah. And then
I think
we
they're all
killed.
dead.
I don't know how many there were originally, because I know Oryx killed one. We've
thought it was
killed
9.
two.
There's
There's
8
a
or 9, no?
bunch. There's a. I feel like there was a.
Should I
lot.
pull
that
out my
we
book?
know of,
I have the
at
grim. I have the
Yeah.
the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I'm
killed the
I'm
book.
staring at the books right now. I'm pretty sure they're all dead. From what I'm remembering, because there's no more ways to give worms, if I'm not mistaken.
They didn't. Well, yeah, because we killed the worm mother, so there isn't necessarily a way to do it.
Yeah.
But there isn't the norm or the way to do it at the moment.
At the moment.
If like I wouldn't put it past anyone with a high enough intellect in universe if they got onto Rolk's ship, because he's the one that did the experiments that led to the ability to do it.
Yeah.
And you like walk past all the dissected worms and you walk past all the experiments that led to being able to do it. They could potentially turn another worm god that we don't know of into a new worm mother.
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, I
based
know
off of that.
Asa's not a worm god, but she is a Leviathan, and I don't know if that would.
If I remember lore, essentially, it's like a hivified Leviathan turns into a worm god or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
it,
can.
one they accepted the sword logic, and
Yeah.
they
I mean,
went
so
way.
that is. I mean, Asa is still there, and also we are getting Sloan this season. So I mean,
Mommy Sloan. God damn.
I don't know.
And Sloan's still taken too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asa's the one that's suppressing that right now.
I don't know if it's specifically Asa, but she learned how to like. How Asa helped her,
Yeah.
I guess, control it. But I think, according
Not
to the
really
season,
control it, just slow it.
just hold it back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not,
Um,
she doesn't like have it under control.
According to this live stream, there's an event that happens at the beginning of the season that intrigues Sloan to help us control the Taken powers, which is I don't know exactly how. I mean, you know how Destiny does with in-game buffs and stuff like that, but
Call it now. Final boss, Sloan.
Ooh, that's a
See,
spicy
I would
take.
love it for it to go one of two ways. I would love it for
Sloan,
Sloan to
Mother?
get full to get the full herpy and just like go full like Taken, and then like and then have be like a subclass of like Taken Guardians or whatnot. You know, that'd be sick. Or on the flip side, adding it to our toolkit. You know, and finally giving us like some sort of like I don't want to say a subclass because I feel like that would be lazy and Bungie's not usually down to do stuff like that. But let's just giving us an option to use it or whatever like that, because I can see it going that way of us like conquering it, because I think it's like a constant climb up this mountain until we start reaching like the end of the bubble, if that makes sense, because I feel like that's what's eventually come towards. Because I don't mean to get too off topic, because it's like cool, we're talking about Zavathun, we're talking about all these things, we're trying to figure out trying to tie up these loose ends narratively, but like the thing that really really irks me, that I feel like, and I really hope Bungie didn't forget about it, and like I really hope those narrative people didn't get laid off or just straight up quit, but I was totally invested during Joker's Wild with the 9.
Bro,
And
I
how that
know.
worked out. Because if you really looked into that stuff, there's a lot of fourth wall things. Same with the 30th, or was it 30th anniversary? Yeah, or what the anniversary. There was so much stuff within that, which kind of like pokes the bear in a way of saying like, oh, there's actually some characters that are aware of like our agency in the game and how much power we have, and also possibly the idea of there's an extra thing out, or there's another world outside of where we're at. And again, I don't mean to go off too much on a tangent, but it's like I was talking to my clan about this a long time ago because we're a bunch of lore guys, but it's just like there's so many lore pieces within the game too, like the other side, Sparrow, and a few other things. There's like of them talking about like the player itself, and there's also like other things too of other characters being aware of that as well. And I think also Zavathin was also kind of talking about little things like that as well, talking about like a game and whatnot and other things. And it's and Bungie is very good at besides Bungie pissing off the community as one of their good things, they also do a really good thing of making innuendos or like small like nods towards something that that start opening themselves up later on down the road.
They're very good at planting seeds. Yeah.
Yes, very, very, very good at doing that. And I really hope and we get into that at some point in time and have that not be like the very end of it all, because I feel like a lot of people who are into that kind of stuff have all left. They've all played. They're all like Marvel Rivals now. So I don't know. We'll all see.
Who switched to Marvel Rivals? I mean,
but what a better way to like bring some of that community back too is to dive into that storyline. So I had no idea that was going on. Being a casual player, casual lore enjoyer.
The 9 are awesome.
There's so much. Yeah, there's so much we didn't know. And if you go back and start looking up like old videos from like Destiny content, or what is that? The Destiny Vault, or I can't remember the YouTube channel. But if you look up like videos of like Joker's Wild that from Forsaken, that like one expansion and whatnot, it talks about it a whole lot of how the Drifter knows his I think that was his girlfriend who got sucked into the 9 stuff, and that's why he's all salty about her.
Pretty
and
much.
like other things as well, and talks about like there's just so much, but it's also kind of weird too because it plays with the idea of like that fourth wall starts getting into the like starts and then there's a lot of speculation about it because they're not really like they're not saying it too obvious, but I personally think that they would toy with the idea of the characters being aware of the player playing them, if that makes sense, that there is an outside thing to it, and that Zavathin doesn't necessarily want the power that's within their world right now. She actually just wants the power of what we have, more or less the power who's controlling the Guardian, which is mostly us because we're the most powerful thing as a player, not so much the Guardian itself. I really hope it gets into that. That'd be cool.
I've cracked the code. The winnower is Bungie.
Oh my god!
I think Star Horse is Bungie, isn't it? Like, didn't they confirm that Star Horse was Bungie?
Star Horse. I love Star Horse.
I mean, it would make sense.
I thought Star Horse was us.
I thought Star Horse was Bungie. I have to,
because everything was for the entertainment of the Star Horse.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I have to go back and look at the lore and stuff like that.
The Star Horse represents the 1%, the people in Squid Game.
The Star Lord is Datto, the true elitist.
I've played these games before.
I mean, it's better than what WoW did with the character that represents Bobby Kotick. What's his name? Is some goblin with like who's so grotesque looking. He's finally getting killed off in the next raid. Like, at least Star Lord is fucking cool. Or Star Horse. Marvel Rivals mine, sorry.
He's cool too.
Marvel Rivals. You know what? Let's all go play some Marvel Rivals.
Dead game with Marvel Rivals.
How dare you? You sir.
Let's
some numbers.
They talked about PvP briefly, and I want to give some time for that as well. But I also want to talk about the Nether, the seasonal activity, and I want to see which one you guys want to talk about first.
Go PvP just to get out of the way.
Yeah, let's do some. Yeah, let's ban another exotic. Let's do that.
All right, so I'm loading up Rumble right now, Chris. 1v1 me. You won't, bitch.
I won't, man. I am a bitch. I don't PvP.
on Destiny?
No.
Is it enough chamber?
I'm very happy with the changes that are coming to PvP because like I know PvP is like either Destiny players will either like ignore it like women or they'll go right into it. So it'll be really, really cool. I mean, I'm really excited for the changes that are coming because I personally love PvP, and it's one of the things that like I come back to, like, because once I get pissed off with the story, or once I get like, there's nothing really else for me to do. Yes, I can do grandmasters, yes, I can do raids and whatnot, but it's like for me, like going into PvP has always been constant since day one. And so they're bringing back a lot of the guns. They're bringing back palindrome. They're bringing back a couple favorites and whatnot.
Wasn't that like
ultimately
Whispering Slab also?
What's up?
Wasn't it called like Whispering Slab, the bow, or am I getting the weapons mixed up?
Oh, I can't remember the name. I just like the picture comes into my mind, but I can't remember the name they chose. But I get so invested into PvP because also too with PvP, like it's a harmonious thing because whatever that's good in PvP can also be really good in PvE as well. So it's like one can feed into the other. So depending on and how the meta works on both ends, then we can have something that really works just by playing the game and have it be better. But we'll see. I'm really hoping that they keep this up with PvP land. I don't know who else plays PvP. I'm not like a super try-hard Trials guy. You know, I just like being Titan and shitting on people. So
Michael plays PvP too, but
Yeah.
my thing is also a note about the weapons. They're actually kind of steering away from like a PvE item being good in PvP and vice versa. They want it to be the item that you get is good for that activity. Now it's not gonna be, the palindrome only has PvE perks. But if you look at the perk pool, it's 99% PvE. Like they're trying to like, and then same thing for the trials weapons. The trials weapons are gonna mostly have good PvP rolls because it's like, why do I want to play? I get it it infuses the population of each, but at the same time, it's like a PvP player is not gonna want to go play PvE if they don't have to, if all they play is PvP. Like a trials guy that only plays trials isn't going to want to go do a raid for this thing because it's good in PvP. So they're kind of trying to steer it that way. A lot of people were upset with the palindrome roll because palindrome was such a killer in PvP, but the rolls that it's going to have are not very good for PvP. There's a couple good ones, but they're mainly PvE rolls.
yeah.
My question to you, since you play PvP more, is what do you think about the trials changes? I know you say you don't play hardcore trials. I don't really either, but some people were upset about how the trials changes were. Obviously the sweats mostly, but
What are they changing in trials?
it's getting a whole rework. Like you don't need to go flawless to go to the lighthouse. You just need 7 wins.
Thank God.
That is just to kind of touch on that. That and now I guess before I say my thoughts on that, I will just to kind of no, screw it. Like I don't like that because they are over time and I'm not trying to like be too gatekeepy with it and like, but I will say that like if you're gonna do that to trials now, then you need to do that to raids and dungeons. Like you need to do something to where it's like now people and I know they've done it already with like the end chest where you can pick what rolls you want and whatnot, but these specific guns are that are within the trials pool are very unique, and they're also adept as well. That needs to happen to within PvE if you're going to be doing that. And I think that they're just trying to do that right now as a way just to get more population into that activity, which I don't agree with because you can't force people to try to go in an activity that they don't want to do. Because like I don't know if you guys know right now, it's like the players are going to do whatever they want to do. There's actually a big influx of people playing Gambit right now because it's actually fun right now. I don't know if you guys played Gambit recently, but there's like a good healthy population when it comes to Gambit right now. But it's like you can't entice people to go into trials because like, oh, if you just need to get 7 wins, but 7 wins dealing with cheaters and all that stuff, you know, I mean, I think, but not to go off too much on different topics, but I overall I don't like that change. I think they need to bring back the challenge again to keep the lighthouse to be a coveted thing, just like you beating a big bad in a raid that needs to be a coveted thing. And I just think it's a little lazy. for them to do that just to kind of boost numbers. But then again, they've also rolled back some things, so we'll see how it goes.
I'd have to disagree.
Well, you can't get adept weapons from your just 7 wins.
Okay, good.
It's all you can still only get it. You're just getting base trials weapons. You're not getting adept weapons. It's mainly for people that want the armor for like transmog and stuff like that.
That.
So like I'm looking at this.
I have I think it's the Warlock armor up.
The armor looks awesome. That new set looks awesome.
Yeah, the armor looks really cool.
I'm good with that change, because I was just thinking to myself, why would they do that for adept? Why wouldn't they leave adept behind the 7 flawless and then just make it like double rewards or double of the regular trials rewards or something for the 7 wins, or double armor, you pick a piece or something at the end. But yeah, if they're leaving the adept lock behind a flawless card, that makes more sense.
So it's what I'm reading is, so it's a lighthouse passage, so it's almost like a mercy or something like that. So it's based off of win streaks. So let's see. So at a 5 win streak, you get a base trials weapon. 7 win streak, you get a adept weapon, but that's a flawless passage. So you still have to get 7 wins. You still have to get 7 wins in a row to get adept weapons, but it's just the base weapons and like armor. Cosmetics.
Yeah.
So you can get, in order to get the cooler stuff like shaders, flawless emblems, ghost shells, you still need to get win streaks. So
I thought they were doing that to mitigate like the people that freaking use it as a income. So like, just like the people that, you want a Charles carry, $50, crap like that.
Yeah.
Seems like that's still going to be prevalent, and plus all the cheaters and shit.
So I get carried for free, or what? Is that what you're offering?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
It's like in like I guess RIP competitive mode, like these are all like awesome changes to trials, but it's like I know the only incentive to go into competitive is to get that one like specific gun at this point.
Yeah, competitive mode, kind of like whatever. I don't even think you get for reaching like the higher ranks with like an emblem or a title or anything like that.
I personally think they need to axe competitive. Like it was a cool concept at first, but then it's just like Gambit now, where it's just like they're not really doing much with it. I would love to see them just move that gun into trials and have trials, since trials is already easy now. Like to get gear, why not just make competitive trials? And
I think the only reason they don't do that is because trials is only the weekend, and I think they want something for the person that only plays that type of game mode to have something 24/7 to play. And I mean, I agree, competitive. I think they added competitive when Trials of the 9 went away. It was like a placeholder thing, and then they finally brought Trials back, I think. Or was Trials already back?
No, Trials is already back. I'm pretty sure Trials is already back, yeah.
I don't know, man. I would just remember. I would love to see them do more marketing and be like, like just have it like a week. It's a weekend thing. Like have build hype towards it and just get rid of it to be the regular competitive mode, and just have it just be like a lot of people go to trials and be looking forward to it, especially with the new changes that they have, and have it be a positive thing, because it is a positive thing. My personal bias is still like, okay, well, if you're gonna, it's still a coveted thing. It's still something that's hard to get, and it's something that should be like an awesome thing. But I don't know. We'll see. Overall, I guess it's just one of those changes. I guess for me just like playing the game for so long, where it's just kind of like it's such a big change, because from D1 to now, it's like, or the D1 to now, it's like in order to get to the lighthouse, you have to have those like those consecutive wins. And now you don't necessarily have to have that experience. It feels a little awkward, but I don't know. We'll see. But
so
overall,
real quick,
what's up?
So I read it wrong. So this is actually, you can actually still earn adept weapons. It's a chance drop though. It's not guaranteed.
Oh, it's a chance drop.
So if you get 7 wins, it's 100%.
There's incentive then.
So it says you have 2 chances to earn adept trials weapons. These chances are dependent on your highest weekly win streak and number of wins completed as a full fire team. They're not additive, they're separate. So like a weekly win streak, chances based on the longest win streak you've earned this week. And this is once per week as far as people that don't get 7 wins. So it says for 1 win, you have a 30% chance. That's if you like win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. You're just trying to get to 7 wins. You have a 30% chance of getting 1. 2 wins is 60%, 3 win or more. But I think it goes up higher as
2
a fire
wins,
team.
60% is already ridiculous to me, dude.
Do you get that
should
as
lower
a
that threshold.
It says they are, meaning if you win 7 games as a trio and a 3-win streak, you'll get 2 adepts from the lighthouse chests. You win 1 game as a trio and 1 win streak, you have 15% chance and a 30% chance, so you can still get 2. So the max for somebody that doesn't go to the lighthouse consistently is 2. I could be reading this wrong. This is a really long like twid.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just pull up Aster Cross's video. No, I'm joking.
I mean, he did explain it, but
Papa Cross.
Papa Cross, yeah. I'm not a weak boy.
I'm okay with it, but I think it's limited as far as adept goes. I think you still can only get 1 a week, maybe. For somebody that doesn't play a lot, I think that's okay. But I do agree that it's kind of like they're just trying to inflate the numbers because it's only the top 1% playing, and they don't want to. They feel bad because they're the only ones playing each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it, I mean, honestly, I don't really know what to say about PvP. I don't have much experience with it, other than maybe when like I first played the game. But it does sound like, you know, like there's some good changes and some bad changes possibly for, you know, what they're trying to accomplish, and you know, maybe the answer is in that twid that you were talking about. But maybe it is also like they're testing the waters to see, okay, is this the right direction, wrong direction?
Bring back big maps. That's all I want.
Yep, 100%, dude. 100%.
Big team battle with sparrows and tanks. Let's go.
Jeez,
Honestly,
dude. Combined arms, dude. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Dude, let's go, man. I'm getting
Put turrets on the map again.
brick hard.
I think we are losing Adam. You got to go, right?
No.
What?
No, I'm joking. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, yeah,
I was like,
did I read that wrong?
well, then who sent that message?
It's like, oh, I just been voluntold. I gotta. Okay, well, jeez.
I just
No. I do have to go. I have to be a dad. I have to put my kids to bed right now. So.
No
But
worries,
no, guys.
man.
Well, it was good talking to y'all. I mean, hopefully we can play in the future whenever it's not a dead game, and kind of just get some good stuff and whatnot. No,
Yeah, we gotta do some raid
It's
runs,
never
man.
not going to be a dead
I
game.
know.
But
I'm just joking.
Gotta get those new
But
fog
overall,
weapons.
I am excited. I am excited for especially from all the topics that we talked about. We'll see. I'm excited to get into the game again, just to kind of see how it goes narratively, and also to see all the little changes and everything. But mostly just wanting to see how this season progresses going into the next expansions, to see where this game that we play goes from there, and any changes from that Sony tries to influence within Bungie, because God knows they need the help right now. So we'll see.
Seriously.
Amen. We'll do something else like this as well. Probably after the dungeon, and definitely before whatever comes next. So we'd love to do this again. I'll try to organize it a little bit better and have some more stuff going on. But I appreciate you coming by and giving your take. Lots of really good insight. I gotta look up the stuff about the 9. Really cool story. I feel like I've never heard about
Yeah,
it.
there's a lot.
they're
Yeah.
very interesting.
Awesome.
But
Well,
alright,
thank you
guys,
very much,
I'll
Adam.
see you guys later.
See you later, man.
Bye.
All right. And then there were 5. So we were talking about PvP. Were there any final notes that you guys wanted to talk about before we move on to the seasonal activity?
No,
Yeah, I
a lot of
agree.
it
We
was
should ban
trials
another exotic.
changes. Yeah, let's ban another exotic.
No, go ahead. I'm just gonna ban another one real quick.
I kind of want to see what's getting banned. Duality got banned. Let's go.
Don't tell Michael. That's just his PvP baby.
Devil's Ruin. Kiss your ass goodbye. You are not available on contest mode. Okay, you had
He's
something else you
picking
wanted to say.
exotics, or he's getting exotics that no one uses.
Yeah, I know. I was like, this
Listen, man, they might
is
be broken.
going
You never know.
Pretty good.
But you had some final things to say. I kind of cut you off. Sorry.
Who, me?
I think Eddie was trying to say something.
No. I was just saying that like trials was the bulk of the changes. I mean, they changed some stuff in competitive, but nothing crazy. It's more so just nerfing abilities. More so focusing on gunplay and stuff, but I mean, PvP is gonna be what it is. I'm more of a PvE player. I just kind of hop in when there's something I want, or mostly cosmetic stuff, or if it's a seasonal challenge.
I will say, in terms of the trials, I kind of like that. I kind of like the changes. I don't care too much about the adept weapons, but as someone who plays the true end game, and that's cosmetics and fashion, I like having more chances of getting the armor for transmog.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
Oh, we lost Michael, so give him a second to come back and see if he has any final notes. But yeah, I mean, it's been this has been fun so far. I would love to do something like this again after the dungeon. I have an idea for that. I just gotta figure out the specifics, and I'll probably mention that towards the end of the stream. But would love to do this again after we've got like some of the season under our belt, the dungeon as well. See if like you know, we were good with our predictions, and maybe like roll back the tape and see what we talked about, see what we were right about or wrong about. You know, maybe like some shit is like crazy powerful, and then some of the stuff we thought was gonna be powerful was not, you know.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. What else? I want to wait to talk about the seasonal activity before Michael comes back. We could take a small break until he comes back, give him some time, because I still want to hear his perspective on some of this stuff, and I want to give people like a chance to go get water or whatever.
I'm back.
Okay, fuck you guys. We're gonna keep going. So hold on, I gotta fix my Discord thing. I want to talk about the Nether, and it being the seasonal activity for this upcoming season. What are y'all's first impressions?
I don't know what it is. It's very interesting in Minecraft.
I think I like the roguelite aspect. I liked that about I forgot what it was called in Season of the Deep, but deep dives, I guess. How you can kind of pick buffs and debuffs, and you know, it is interesting that you don't regen health, and I think it's kind of cool that you have to you know, find pots and kill ads that give you health back and stuff like that. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, 30-minute activity maybe. I think it'll be pretty good. Again, it just depends on what the objectives are, I think, because some of them, there's some it's like, oh, this is fun to replay, but there's some that it's like, dude, I don't want to do this shit again. So I think it really just depends on what exactly each, in their words, bubble is. It just depends. I mean, in my opinion, the loot looks fucking sick. The guns look awesome.
Yeah.
And they're kind of cooking up with rolls. It's not craftable, but like the adept rolls that you can get, those are going to be pretty cool. And you can enhance those, obviously. And they said that they're not going to have like a shader like the Brave Arsenal did, but like if you look at the one that he had, it had a different I don't know what that memento was. I don't know if that was the shaped memento. I'm not 100% sure, but like just having an adept weapon from a seasonal activity is kind of crazy in my opinion. I know for Frontiers that's what they're moving towards as far as tier weapons. But I just think being able to get adepts from just the seasonal activities would be really cool. How we do that, I don't know. I don't know if it's just a chance drop or what exactly, but I think that's pretty sick. The guns look awesome. That grenade launcher looks sick. I don't know what else we're getting. They only showed 3.
Whoa.
There's obviously more than that.
They're using that exotic freaking fusion too.
Yeah, they got a buff.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's getting a buff.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. I have all
like
3.
All 3 twids.
Oh, also, J-Kai, for you, with the launch of Revenant as well, they are releasing the other half of the Festival of the Lost. What's it called? Ornaments. So like you can buy those. The one that you wanted, the evil wizard or whatever. They're
Yeah.
releasing that one.
So I
So
gotta wait till October.
Good news.
no, with Heresy, they're
Oh,
gonna
with Heresy. Fuck.
because they built both of them
Yes.
because they saw that everybody wanted the opposite of what was given, pretty much.
Yeah. 'cause
So
that was
they're releasing the
stupidest
other
thing
half.
ever.
So they said they're not going to do it with every single one, but they said that people really liked both sets for this one, so they're going to release the other half. So I think at launch, those will be available. But let me
Nice.
find real quick before anybody else talks.
Be for Bright Dust though.
While you're looking for it, I'm gonna just kind of add my thoughts in there. I like the idea that they're leaning into more build crafting for the players or like a community that enjoys creatively build crafting, something that works and something that's fun to play. I like the idea that the boons can be different through each playthrough. And I think it's a really cool way to tie into what the season's going to be about. They were saying it's going to be like Taken, Hive, Dread. Like, I think it's going to be a fun activity. But it also goes into what Eddie said, you know, is it going to be something that's a pain to do every time I need to do it? Or is it going to be like, you know what, I'm going to try this build. This seems like fun. I think it's going to be dependent on the boons that we get. But I do like the idea that, you know, the challenge is that you don't get your health back. You know, you get it back from, you know, is it the boons or not the boons, but like different things and collectibles you can find in the activity?
Did you ever play the coil? Were you? I don't know if you started.
I don't think I
playing
did.
that. So there was a lot of pots that you would break for like moats that the more like you had to get a certain amount in order to get like a certain score for rewards. But
Yeah.
for this, there's going to be pots like that drop health and ammo because there's going to be less ammo drops as well. So you're going to be looking for those between encounters or during encounters to get your health back.
Is there still going to
ammo.
be like the healing aspect as far as like, you know, just from buddies or the
Abilities.
support
Yes,
things
but they
and all
nerfed
that?
it really hard. So it's because they
Yeah.
don't want it to be oppressive.
Yeah.
I think
Not oppressive,
main
but they don't want it
source-
to be overpowered.
the main source of the healing it's either through the stuff you can get from the pots or the support frame rifles, I think.
Yeah, it takes a lot to heal, but it's your only option if you're not looking for the chest, which you should be. But so the buffs for Delicate Tomb, so they increase the chance to make an Ionic trace from minor combatants from 4 to 10%. Increase the damage PvE damage bonus on the Tempest Cascade shot from 30 to 100%, and then remove the timer from Tempest Cascade lasts until fired. So it should be making more traces, and then that Cascade shot does I don't know, 70% more damage, which is pretty good, especially if you pair it with like Fallen Sunstar or like Crown of Tempest. That'll be pretty nutty.
Yeah, it seems like the stuff that they buffed is it's gonna be fun to bring those back into a rotation, back into the build crafting questions. I think that's pretty much it from the side of, you know, the seasonal activity. It looks interesting. It sounds like it's going to be pretty similar to the experience of people walking around on the Dreadnought for the first time. So I think they're kind of playing into their favor with like, okay, let's go back to a fan favorite before we get the fuck out of here. So I think it looks cool. I think the idea is cool. And I think that the season is looking very promising right now. I'm very happy with what I've seen.
Yeah,
Agree.
same.
Yeah, it does sound good. I wish there was more weapon crafting. I am a big fan of weapon crafting. I liked it. I know no one else did, but I really like weapon
I
crafting.
didn't,
But I
mean,
wish.
I didn't mind it. I think raid weapons being craftable kind of seems. I think that one, in
I
a
know
way, I
that-
feel like it's worse because if you think about it, it makes sense for the seasonal weapons to be craftable, right? Because these
Yes.
are going away.
Yeah.
But raid weapons, I think it's nice that they're craftable, but you also have to think, well, when you craft it, then you're done. I don't have a single reason to touch Vow. I have every single crafted
Exactly.
weapon. I think it's doing the opposite, but it also at the same time they're catering to the people that don't play as much because it's like, oh, I only need to play this to get this weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
if-
get it.
I think a way that could help that is either A, just don't make raid and dungeon weapons craftable at all, and just make seasonal weapons craftable, which I would have been completely fine with. But a way that probably could have helped that is make like adept weapons, the raid adept weapons, more unique versus the craftable ones. Make them have perks the craftable ones can't get, or perk combos the craftable ones can't get, or something like that.
Oh, I like that idea, actually. That's a good idea. Because you still
just
want
make
to...
those more.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just saying, just make those more unique.
Yeah, because the thing about, I feel like games like this where, loot is the kind of thing that you seek when you do hard encounters. Like, you want better gear to do harder things in the game. Retaining that aspect where the stuff that you pick up is always the best. You're always hyped when it's like, oh my god, I finally got the thing that I wanted, and it's like the right way it needs to be so that I never have to try and get another one. Versus like the consistent, like, okay, this is good and I can get this on demand, but it's not the best. There's going to be a crowd that wants both of those options, or like one option, and then there's going to be a crowd that wants the other option. And I think it caters to most of the community if you do build a system like that. I think that's a good idea.
I think getting rid of the craft and just leaving the enhanced perk stuff is where it should be.
What?
Can you say that again? It's what?
Is where it should be. Like, being able to enhance perks is, I think, an ideal route versus crafting.
That's the route they went with. Is crafting is pretty much practically gone. They did say they are putting crafting for a Vault of Glass.
Yep.
So you'll be able to craft those weapons. I don't know if they'll have different perks or not.
Though the perks got updated.
They did? Okay, sweet.
Yeah, but they added, which I really want to run Master now, but they added an origin trait. They added an origin trait to it that's right there.
Yeah.
Final blows of this weapon grant super energy. When your super expires, this weapon's magazine is double for long duration and reloads. Like, on Heads and Vengeance, that's going to be nutty.
Heads and Vengeance is what the...
It's a rocket. But you can, if you finish your super, you get essentially unlimited ammo with the ammo you have. You don't have to reload at all. It can just shoot all your rockets. Like, it depends on how long the buff is. But
if you have a one-off super, I feel like even if the buff isn't as long, but it says doubled for a long duration. So I feel like that's probably going to be a good chunk of time.
And reloads from reserves.
Yeah.
So that's a huge incentive. Even if you get a normal roll, like even on a Fatebringer, that's 24 rounds. Like, that's pretty good.
Just like the last time we beat it on Master, we just gotta wait for another crafting and
I know,
get
right?
in there and get it done.
God, that was crazy.
That was fun,
doing that, and it was it Chris who was like, this doesn't feel good or something?
I think so.
I still feel that way because but at the same time, like, I can appreciate it if you've been playing the game for a long time and it's like, finally I can just do whatever I want in like this like insane way, and that you get the go ahead from the developers, like, yep, have fun.
Yeah.
And then we're rolling it back. Or sorry, we're not rolling it back.
You're just removing all the weapons.
Oh, that's right, because we were doing Crota at the time.
Yeah.
But we were like, we didn't know if they were gonna roll it back, and then they said, fuck it, have fun.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it was really cool. I think it just from a perspective of like, I like to do things and complete them in a way where like it feels like it's earned. It didn't feel good.
I get that.
But I'm not gonna stomp on other people's parade because it did look like fun.
You didn't do the glitch. That took a lot of effort to make it work.
Yeah,
dude,
I worked really hard.
Had such a hard time. Fuck you guys, dude. I could never have done it at all.
I was so happy. I was like, it was the one time that my shitty internet was a godsend.
Yeah, you were the first one to be able to do it. That's right.
Yeah, because it just worked because my shit was terrible.
We're getting off topic, but I do want to run the raid.
That's on the to-do list.
I still want to run even Garden, actually, since they reprised those weapons.
No, you don't. Don't lie.
I do.
They have some good rolls with those new weapons, man.
They do.
Okay, so just so everybody's clear, whoever's listening to this video, every time we mention garden, this guy Eddie is like, I'm not doing garden. Every time.
That was
it's
before they
brought up.
reprised it. That was before they reprised it.
Okay,
Just
that's
saying.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But just let the record show that's what you've been saying for years.
That
So
So
That's
it's
fine.
like insane to hear it that they're like, oh, I actually want to run it now.
We got to get Sean Divinity, man.
yeah, he needs it, dude.
I'm not doing that.
We need to get.
I'm just kidding.
There we go.
that's where I draw the line.
Won't even help
Yeah.
a friend, huh? Fucked up.
What'd you say?
I said, doesn't even want to help a friend get divinity. It's fucked up.
Because I've helped everybody get it already, except for you, person.
Yeah, you basically said I like everyone else more than you, Sean.
Crazy
Oh,
how I
shit.
came out of retirement and I got divinity, dude.
It's crazy out here.
Anyways, that's not current content. Oh, what are we talking about?
Yeah, okay, so final notes before we get into dungeon builder time. And I want to go back to the picture that was shown here. Okay, this picture. It'll lead into our
Analyze it.
next. Yeah, I mean, we'll do that as far as, you know, what we can see and what we can expect. I think we have talked about just about everything that I have thought about, like what are our expectations, where do we want the story to go. There's a lot of really good things and insights that you guys brought up. I want to talk about like what are we going to see in this story? Like, what are our predictions for Oryx? And you know, it's funny, we were in a call. I don't remember how long ago it was. It wasn't that long ago, but I was talking about this dungeon builder idea and like predicting bosses. And I know there's logic to it, but I was just like, or there's no logic to it lore wise. But I remember just pitching the idea: what if we got like a Taken Subjugator? And it's like, what the fuck is that right there? You know, like it looks like a Taken Subjugator to me.
It do kind of look like a Taken Subjugator.
And I was just kind of like, okay,
Damn,
what's
dude.
what's like the craziest thing that they could do? And you know, Eddie gave me the reasoning why that couldn't happen. So I'm interested to see like where this comes from now. So just based off of what we've seen so far, where do you expect the story to take us before we get to, you know, the end here?
I just want to jump in real quick because I did give you the reasoning, but Oryx is back.
Oryx is back.
We don't
Boom.
know in what capacity, but I told you because Xivu has been in a way using that power. She doesn't fully own it, I think. But
No, she can't take. She can't use it. She was just trying to. She
control
filled
them.
the-
She was trying to control them.
Yeah, she filled the role as like leader because she is still technically a god.
So I was right. Yeah, she can't take.
But she can't take. I think she was trying to figure out how to obtain it and use it, but she never was able to actually take.
So then that goes back to my point. What I told you, Chris, is that she couldn't. But now that Oryx is back, that could. We don't know in what capacity he's back. We don't know if he's an apparition. I'm assuming the Echo is going to bring him back. But
Oh yeah.
if
I
he's
think that's what they
back,
said.
he would have that power, most likely, which would, again, take it Subjugator. You know.
Yeah.
So
the
it's a
point I was just
possibility
trying to
now.
make
I didn't know if Oryx was going to be back.
is that I was right and you were wrong. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine.
Motherfucker.
So the point. So the thing is, like, for anybody who's watching and is unaware, I know like almost nothing about the lore of the game. So I was just spitballing ideas out of just like, I'm just grabbing at any straw. Like, what could it be? What could it be? In terms of like, how can we clear contest? But what can we expect? And like, I trust like these guys' opinions way more than, or like their knowledge and opinions and insight on the lore of the game, more than anything. That's why I wanted to like get everybody together and talk about it so that I can learn and we can all learn together and talk about like that kind of thing. So I'm not trying to say like, oh, you were wrong. It's just like, it's interesting that I was just grasping at straws and like, oh shit, there it is.
Well, another thing to point out is, sorry if I feel like I just keep talking, but the dungeons don't necessarily fit into the narrative of the story. Like, I mean, it fits in the story, but I'm saying they don't fit in the narrative of the season necessarily. They generally
That's a
don't.
good point.
But the reason for that is it ties in a way, but the reason for that is because it's a purchased thing. It's not like it's a separate thing. Not everybody buys that. When you buy the season, it's $10. You get access to everything. The dungeon is a separate thing, and so that's the same reason why the dungeon weapons aren't craftable. Because if they're too strong and they're craftable, it's not fair to the people that don't buy it, kind of thing. But that's why they're not tied in. They do tie in a way, kind of like how Vesper's host. That's tying in not necessarily to the story of that season, but it was laying the groundwork for a future thing, just like how they're talking about, oh, that's a weird portal. You know, the energy from that's kind of weird. They're laying seeds, like Adam was saying. They're really good about that. So
thematic.
Exactly. So I don't know specifically what this dungeon is going to be about. I imagine it may fit in a little bit more to the story, considering where we're going. Vesper's host was completely random, but the fact that we're going back somewhere, I mean, technically it was the station. We did go back to somewhere we've been.
Yeah.
But like, it was a villain we had already fought. It was Atrax essentially. So
yeah,
this one we don't know if it's. I assume it's not a villain we've already fought, but it could tie in a little bit more.
Is this picture right here supposed to be a representation of the season or of the dungeon?
Season.
The season.
It's a seasonal
season.
artwork.
Okay.
They did mention at the beginning of the live stream though that it was a dread leader that has control of the Echo, which could be who that guy is. It could not. I don't know if it has anything to do with the dungeon, but it was a dread leader, which is if it's a subjugators are dread, so that would be him, I assume. We just don't know what that name is or anything like that.
Yeah. For all we know, Oryx might be kind of on our side.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm really glad that you brought that up because the echoes that they had talked about in the live stream, I'm pulling them up right now. Sorry, it's a point I think is important going into the season because it does give like maybe some insight to what we can expect. So they talked about Maya Sunderesh, how she escaped, and she was, the first Echo, and then there was Fickrel who did not escape, and then the last Echo is, here, at the Dreadnought, and so like, it's a dumb way to like narrow it down, but it's like, okay, we had one person escape, one person did not. It feels like the other choice is like, we have Savathun kind of on our side. Why would, what if, the tables have turned and now we allow the resurrection of orcs in some capacity to aid us going into whatever's next.
Well, according to the last season, though, the story, Echoes have the ability to choose their wielder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's because, I mean, they don't have the ability to leave the wielder. Like, unless, because Fickrel may have had it trapped in that staff. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think they clarified that. But like, the Echo did pick Aramis. So the Echo, it's sentient. It has the ability to choose. It didn't like what Fickrel was doing, and it told us that and wanted us to defeat Fickrel. Now, what this Echo is going to do, we have no idea.
Okay,
but
that's interesting.
That is, and it looks like that right below Oryx, where his beam is. Mm-hmm. That looks like the Echo, but that's also the same location where the ship would emit that taken beam, that taken energy from the taken king.
It also looks like a ghost.
The ship is a giant.
Yeah.
The Dreadnought becomes Oryx's ghost.
That'd be kind of sick, honestly, right? That brings him back in some way where we can carry him forward, a very like beloved character of this universe.
That would be crazy, bro.
Wouldn't that be insane? Okay, what if we just predicted the end
nuts.
right now?
we did it, guys.
How insane would that be?
Then we eventually get Xivu Wrath on our end, and we all fight the Winnower.
Ooh.
The 5th expansion down the road.
We don't even fight Xivu Wrath. We're basically getting the band back together.
Okay.
The Hive God band back together.
It kind of feels like that. To add into it, they use a lot of phrases and flavor words to describe what's happening on the Dreadnought, and I'm just going to throw them out there for the people who haven't heard it yet. They used phrases like, peeling back and heretical, and the name of the dungeon is Sundered Doctrine. So it feels like maybe we're ripping away the things that maybe corrupted him in the first place. Does that make sense? Maybe not. I think I'm trying to get us in the direction of like, what if we're peeling away the things that made us fight him in the first place, and then taking almost like everybody who had his like their allegiance to him, bring them back under his leadership again, but also in alliance with what we are now.
I could see kind of like that if he becomes because the Hive were originally, before they became the Hive, they were called the Krill, and they were originally supposed to be what we are now. They were supposed to be light bearers. They were supposed to be light bearers before us, but Rolk got to them first and turned them in and gave them the worms and turned them into this.
Mm-hmm.
Because they told him the Traveler was bad.
Yeah, they're saying Traveler's bad and all this other stuff. So I think in the sense that Savathun finally became that. She got revived, but she had the same thing of losing her memory, and she doesn't even have. She has a lot of it back though, because she was like, she knew, she figured this out and then saved her memory in such a way so that when she got rezzed as a Hive Guardian or whatever, she could retain her memory, because you're supposed to lose it. She probably has something set up more. That could be Touch of Malice, in all honesty. Oryx's retained memory, and then
that's true.
I could see them bringing Oryx back as a type of light hive, just like Savathun, and then maybe down the line, since Xivu Wrath no longer has hive, is technically no longer a hive god, because we stripped away all that power. Since she's technically no longer a hive god, the same thing could happen to her. Bye, Sean.
Yeah, he already did.
Oh, he already left. I didn't even hear the thing go off.
I didn't either. Go ahead.
But yeah, so down the line, we could just be getting kind of this band. They've fulfilled their role as becoming light bearers, but they won't change entirely. They're not going to be good guys or quote unquote good guys. They'll be allies probably to some extent, but there's still Hive. They won't go back to being Krill, because even after Savathun and all of the light bearing Hive that she resurrected and all of that, even after going through the process of attaining light, they still remained Hive.
But they don't have their worms anymore.
They don't have their worms, but they still operate on the same kind of thought process as Hive. Not necessarily sword logic, but because Savathun is operating under her own kind of logic now. And
so I watched Astacross's video, and he made a good point, because we were trying to figure out before the live stream that he was talking about it, and we were saying like, who's going to get the echo kind of thing. And we were saying, now that we know Oryx is coming back, my thought is, well, the episode is called Heresy, right? Well, because Oryx did follow the sword logic.
Yes.
So defying the sword logic would be heresy, would it not?
Leads into Sundered Doctrine.
So what if Oryx coming back as a light bearer doesn't follow the sword logic anymore, because he won't have a worm anymore.
Yeah.
He's defying sword logic, even though he's still a hive god. That is a thought. It would be heretical, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a possibility. And then as far as the dungeon goes, my thought is Xivu Wrath obviously is going to have something to do with that. What, I don't know. because it would fully make sense in my opinion. But as far as the heretical theme, I think Oryx coming back, not necessarily doesn't have to be as a light bearer, but in that vein coming back and then him defying the sword logic would be heresy in my eyes.
But he could do that following the kind of, he'll probably get help from Savathun, because Savathun defied or betrayed or whatever sword logic a long time ago, because that was the big thing she was trying to find. She invented her own logic that so she can get that power without necessarily feeding the worm in the same way as sword logic, so she could break away from the rule of like Rolk and the disciples and all that.
But wasn't to feed her worm though? Wasn't she had to deceive? No, that's how she fed the worm. Hers wasn't to kill.
Yeah, but it was still a logic. All her followers, like she had her own followers, they all followed that same logic, or they were doing that same logic as well. She was obtaining the power in a different way. She was obtaining her Hive God power in a different way. As far as how much that changed after, and then we did a similar thing, because the logic we did when that whole season that ended with us taking the power away from Xivu Wrath, we did that. Yeah, that logic was different than sword logic as well. That's why that's why Savathun helped us. It was basically Savathun's logic that we were using, or a form of it, or actually no, I think it could be considered different and more Eris Morn's logic. But anywho, back to the whole thing. That could work, and it like follows just him coming back as a light guardian that no longer has a worm, or a light hive or hive guardian or whatever that no longer has a worm. He wouldn't have to obey sword logic anymore. So yeah, he would be committing heresy. But I don't think it's not the fact of him going against sword logic now. Going against the sword logic isn't the heresy. It's more than likely, and this could how it ties in Xivu Wrath, because she follows sword logic as well.
Yeah.
So the heresy.
She's the god of war, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the heresy, she's technically like physically, she's more powerful than Savathun and Oryx. Oryx was king for a lot of reasons. And he was still stronger in a sense than power-wise he was stronger, but physicality-wise, I'm pretty sure Xivu Wrath was the one who was stronger. But yeah, the heresy could be against her, and then this could be another. I don't know how much she's gonna be involved with the dungeon. It'll probably be, unless they make her a boss in it. I don't know. I don't really see why they would.
Yeah, I don't think they would do her like that. I think
some would consider that heresy.
A lot of people would get mad.
Yeah. But if I know Bungie, heresy's kind of their thing.
That's true.
I mean,
like every Hive God has had their own expansion. I feel like there's no way that she's not gonna get hers.
I like the ideas that we're pitching here. Michael, did you want to add anything based off of your thoughts?
No, Jake, I kind of spilled everything that I was thinking of.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just thinking I hadn't heard you say anything about it yet. But I like that we're all kind of thinking the same thing too. It sounds like I brought up a picture of this gun because I think it kind of is leading into what we're talking about. Where it's like defying. I don't know. So correct me if I'm wrong, but there's the sword logic is like a belief, right?
It's a bit more than that. It's a full. It's a literal power system that relies on defeating your opponent. So, when a hive defeats, do you know Warhammer 40K at all?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm trying to find a comparison. So that could probably make it easier to explain, but sword logic is like when you kill something, there's a form of when a hive kills something, it creates a type of magic power that's fed to the one in charge of that hive. I think the best way I could put a really good way that I could put this is it's an MLM. It's a pyramid scheme.
Ah, okay.
Pretty much.
Alrighty.
It is a pyramid scheme. So the people at the bottom kill things, and that power from killing things it feeds the worm and generates this power that then goes up to the next level of people, that then goes up to the next level of people, that then goes up to the hive gods.
I see.
But literally the hive gods get the most of it. They get the real like good chunk of it. And but it's attained through killing, and then it's also obtained through dying in a sense. So because when a hive dies, they don't necessarily fully die unless you kill their worm.
Yeah.
But even yeah. And so they can kind of come back, but they kind of come back as the lowest of the low.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Which cool little tidbit, by the way. If you look in game when you kill a bunch of thrall or acolytes, you can see sometimes the worm will drop on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If you never noticed that.
And that's the whole thing with the dread. Like when you kill those ones and those one worms come out, that's like a more advanced new form.
That's what that is?
It's like a super more advanced altered form that Rolk made.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't it. He didn't want it for hive. He wanted it for the dread. It's like stronger. It doesn't need to follow sword logic and stuff to get powerful in that.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. And then because when they were first starting out, Savathun, Oryx, and Xivu Wrath, they would kill each other. They got their ascendant planes, which means they're basically, as long as they didn't die in their ascendant throne room, they didn't fully die. They would just go back there. And that's the same thing with all the hive. So
Gotcha.
So they would just kill at the start of it to gain a lot of power. They would just kill each other, and they were just killing each other over and over and over and over, gaining more power through sword logic. And then they developed more hive were developed, and it created a pyramid of pushing power up to them. But it came out of, and then they had their own respective roles.
Yeah.
And they would, in a sense, gain more power based on those roles, but it still followed sword logic. Except Xivu Wrath then developed her own version, so she could pull away from sword logic, and thus pull away from being under the thumb of like Rolk and the disciples. Xivu Wrath, like, I don't really know how to describe it. She like leaned into it a bit more than even Oryx necessarily, because Oryx then gained the taken ability and all of that, so he didn't have to go all heavy into sword logic. Xivu Wrath had nothing but sword logic. That's why she became the god of war. So fighting she gets so much power from fighting that even just us fighting also gives her power.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
That's
that kind of... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's why that one season, it was so adamant that we didn't fight Xivu Wrath head on before we stripped her god powers away. Because if we had fought her head on, anything we did to her to fight her or try and kill her or anything like that would just make her stronger. So she'd be pretty much invincible.
Gotcha.
But,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea about the sword logic, so that's good to know. And I think if we can maybe identify a possible like something that can come of this season, I think it is going to be a some sort of variation of a tale of redemption. Like Orcs is coming back in some capacity, and I think I want to believe that he's going to fall under the same theme of like, we're going somewhere else and we're going to need, you know, all of the best, like the best that we know, the best that we got. So we're bringing him back. I'm probably way off with that, but I think, you know, it just like the theme of the guns, where like it seems like the Taken is being peeled back. You know, the Heresy is the name of the season, and then much like you guys were saying, it's like defying the sword logic is heretical. I think all signs point to maybe, you know, it's just the rebirth of him under, like, getting out from under the thumb of the Hive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not really the thumb of the Hive, but the thumb of the disciples.
Right. Sorry. The disciples. Gotcha.
Or you could say out of the thumb of the worm gods as well.
Okay. Yeah. I guess whatever power he served before, I think he is freed from by the end of the season, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Did anybody have any other points that they want to make before we move on to dungeon building?
Totally off topic, but when you mentioned that key word peeling off, and then seeing this gun peeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They used it a lot.
Yeah.
They said it a lot. They said heretical a lot. It's a huge theme. The name of the dungeon is Sundered Doctrine, so it does point to like we said before. I think if we are totally off base and they just go in a completely different direction, I will be completely flabbergasted. But I think we have everything we need in front of us to predict which direction this is going to go.
I'm starting to understand the story tidbits to this next expansion. They're trying to copy ants. I already know it.
It better be a banana emote where you're peeling it.
Caterpillar. He's gonna scream. He's a beautiful butterfly.
Yep. It's gonna be beautiful, man. All right.
It's Oryx, but just butterfly wings.
I would like to invite us to paint so that we may create the dungeon. I'm going to open up a paint picture, and we're going to make the dungeon. And I'm going to save the pictures in the files so that we can take a look at them later and see how right we were, how wrong we were.
While you're doing that, I hope. Did they mention any strikes or anything?
Nope.
Shield Brothers. Please.
That strike was so.
I really doubt it.
That would be so cool.
They're gonna bring back the Soul Strike, dude.
I mean, they mentioned Shield Brothers, I think. Actually, no, they didn't mention it.
It would just be cool, even if that's the only one, because they can't bring back Dark Blade, because we already have Light Blade.
They're
Although
gonna
I
bring back
do
the Soul Strike, dude.
Bring back what?
The Zol.
Oh,
that
Zol.
Strike.
Oh, fuck that. That was on Mars. They can't bring that back.
That was on Titan.
Was it on Titan? I thought it was on Mars, because that's where he was frozen, was on Mars.
No, Zol was on Mars.
Yeah. I know more about the lore than you do.
Bring it back anyway.
I know more lore than you.
Bring it back. That shit was...
No, that strike was terrible. I'm just kidding.
Here's a Hive God. Kill him in a strike.
Yeah.
Okay, bad news. I can't make the pictures, so I'm gonna draw it later.
You don't have enough.
For some reason, it's not showing up on OBS. I gotta fix that later.
You gotta borrow J.K.'s crayons.
Yeah.
I already ate them. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
You wanted some? Sorry.
I'll just write it down.
Wanted some.
I'll write it down in a Word doc, and then I have roulette wheels for the kind of enemies we'll see, the boss mechanics we might see, and many others. And I think what I would like to do is make at least 2 completely random versions of the dungeon and compare them with like ours at the end. And hopefully they're not too far off base, but we'll see. So does anybody feel like they want to start with their, oh, actually, before we start, what is the theme of the dungeon? Like, what are we going to see in every single encounter? Does anybody have an idea of what that might be?
I have one thing to say before we start that. Can we ban another exotic?
Oh, we fucking can. Yes, we can. Let's ban another exotic. We did a weapon last time, so it's time for armor.
If it's curious, I'm uninstalling.
It just might be curious. We'll just have to see. Breaking news: which exotic is getting banned? Oh boy, what's it gonna be? It is Nezarec Sin. What do we think about that?
No. That thing is fucking good.
I can't believe it.
Not a single Titan thing. Let's go.
I mean, they did buff Quicksilver.
Yeah, Quicksilver could. I was surprised that was the first one gone, honestly. I could see that one being pretty good.
They just reverted some of the nerf.
Alright.
I just want them to bring back No Land Beyond. Please.
I can't believe you spelled Nezarec wrong.
Doesn't even
Did I really?
It's it's E-R-E-C. Nezarec.
Doesn't matter, it's banned.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, you can't touch it. Don't forget to do your bento boxes before next week.
Oh yeah, I gotta do that.
What? Why?
Because you get Chatterwhite and you can get the Palindrome, the God Roll, Cataphract.
I already have
some spoils.
I don't got shit.
Okay.
I got 5 days to do that.
They're really fast. It's pretty easy. The hardest one is the dungeon encounters. You got to do two of the final encounters.
Those are 4s in here. It's 4-man raid.
Let's get it.
Okay, so what we have here, it's a Word document. What do we think the theme mechanic is going to be of Sundered Doctrine?
I'm gonna tie it to Eris Mornigan, dude. I'm calling it right now. We're gonna give her all the titles.
I mean, I would hope it's Hive themed.
It's gonna have something to do with the sword logic.
That's a good idea, actually.
Dread themed.
It's gonna be fucking Vex themed. Watch.
Oh my god, I actually lose it. I would actually go back into retirement.
Okay.
Shattered Throne.
No.
So, Mezzo, you say something with sword logic?
Yeah, I think it's something. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you had to guess, how does that mechanic work? Like, if you had to describe what you had to do, what would it be? And you can use like mechanics you've seen in dungeons before, or you can use the nice wheel of mechanics and generate a random one.
Well, sword logic, it's going to be a lot of killing, and if it's Sundered Throne, maybe it ties in with Xivu. So, yeah, just a lot of killing.
Murder, big murder,
big
so
moida.
Destiny, every Destiny.
Yeah,
we've been killing for a decade now.
Sounds good. Okay. Who wants to go next?
There you go. I'm still cooking.
I have no idea.
Would you like to generate a random mechanic?
Big murder.
big murder.
I mean, it's probably gonna be Hive themed.
Hive theme? Okay.
So I want to say that like Hive Taken.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say we might have the taken essence mechanic, kind of like from King's Fall, where like
Okay.
somebody is in like a like somebody's in a different realm kind of thing.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense too. If it is going to be taken centered, maybe not like completely taken themed, but if Orc's coming back, that would make sense to pull something from, King's Fall as a raid. And that's not something that they're like, I guess, like shy with using. Like that, it seems like a pretty popular taken idea. So I think that's
Like,
pretty
I feel
safe,
like it'll
though.
be like a twist on that kind of thing. Like it won't be exactly the same, obviously, but something in that vein where like randomly somebody gets taken and can only see certain symbols on the wall or something like that, or like one person gets taken and that's the only way they can take down the boss shield kind of thing. That's my thought.
Okay. That's a good
Like I
thought.
think taken, because throughout the whole, at least this first act, they're talking about using taken powers and wielding them. Now, again, like I said earlier, the dungeon and the season don't really coincide with each other necessarily. But I feel like since this one is this whole episode is a lead up to the next expansion, I feel like it might be intertwined a little bit more. So that's where my thought process is coming from.
You know what? That makes me think, like, the title of this dungeon, Sundered Throne. Maybe we're both like trying to contest the throne, the throne world of Xivu Arath.
Sundered Doctrine.
I
Sundered
like where you're going
Doctrine,
with that,
yeah.
though.
Yeah, but I feel like
But
it
that
has
is
to
a good-
tie in with Xivu somehow on that end.
Because Mara has Oryx is taken, or Ascended Plane. Savathun still has hers, and we banished Xivu from hers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good idea.
Wait, who has Oryx's Ascendant?
Because
Plane?
Mara has Oryx's,
No, she made her own.
Yeah, she made her own.
but she made her own using his. That was the whole reason. Like that was the whole thing after the Taken King. No,
I don't think
she
so.
used his to create her own. Because she couldn't just make her own. So once we killed Oryx, she took his to make her own.
Google.
Could be interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I don't know. I can't confirm or deny.
No, Riven helped her.
Oh, with one of the wishes, probably.
The Awoken began to build a throne world underneath what would become the Blind Well. Riven helped construct this throne world, which was called Eleusinia.
But
Okay.
I thought she did because of Oryx.
Well, she probably saw Oryx's and was like, "Oh man, that's what it looks like."
Yeah, she used the sword logic with Eris Morn and the help of her Techians and Riven.
She did not use sword logic. She used bomb logic. It's literally called bomb logic. It's literally called bomb logic. That I know for sure.
Yeah, she used his.
Look, I'm seeing Riven helped her.
It says this death allowed Mara access to Oryx's throne room, where she waited for Eris and the Guardians to kill Oryx. During this time, Oryx also destroyed much of Eleusinia. After Oryx's defeat, Mara was able to regain her physical form because she was in the throne world. Because she was in his ascendant plane.
Dude, no.
Eleusinia
Mara?
is her throne world. He broke through into her throne world.
It's right here.
So she
guys.
just used his throne world to survive.
Yeah.
So she could come back because she didn't die in the throne world. She was in his throne world, and then once we killed him, she was able to come back. Okay.
Nah, dude.
Yeah.
Mara and her Techians got super high on Queen's Full tinctures. Come on, guys.
Of course. So on that note, what do you think the mechanic is for Sundered Doctrine, JK? Or I can go next if you want.
You go. Still thinking.
all
Okay.
I have in my mind right now is the final boss.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think, given how Vesper's host went, we went back to panels, and the augmentations were a pretty big part of Deepstone, right?
Yeah.
So I would imagine we probably do see something like Taken Essence to go into another plane. But this time, like, while we're in the plane, I think maybe it's like an unraveling or like a peeling back of the Taken Essence. Maybe it's like, it's going to sound weird, and I don't think it's probably possible, but some variation of, you know how like Mario Sunshine, this is like a super spicy like mechanic that's going to be hard to like implement, but like Mario Sunshine, you're like cleaning up all the ink and paint that is left by whatever is in the levels. Like imagine that being like the Taken Essence. You're just cleaning it up with like the essence that you pick up. Maybe revealing symbols or something like that you have to activate later on. I don't know. So I'm gonna write Mario Sunshine mechanics.
So, yeah.
Probably not possible, but I'm gonna swing for the fences. I already called Taken Subjugator. I'm already 1 for 1. Yeah, whatever. Like,
Okay, so just to clarify, by the way, Oryx's throne world is gone. Because
Yeah,
it went away when
it's-
he died.
Yeah.
okay, and then
But you claimed his power, I guess, when he died, because she was in his throne world. But she went back to her own.
Actually, okay.
Okay.
what do you think?
I'm gonna say theme.
Star Wars.
Yes.
Boss
Theme?
Palpatine.
Theme Christmas. No.
Merry Chrysler.
Christmas. Yes.
If you say Ewa
Mechanic.
Levante, I swear to
The mechanic. Baking cookies. And the final boss. Levante.
What did you say the last boss
Grandma.
was?
her holiday oven 3.0.
Eva Levante. She's the lady you talk to for every holiday event. Because I had a theory before the Witch Queen expansion that she was Savathun in disguise. Turns out it was Osiris. I still believe Eva Levante is evil.
Okay. So we got.
Or as Jake, I like to say it, Evil Levante.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. Surprisingly enough, with all the hive stuff that we've gotten before, nobody said symbols
Meh.
as like the
I was
main
going to,
mechanic.
and then I thought of the high.
What is a cookie but a symbol of deliciousness?
There you
The
go.
symbol of evil.
Yeah, I think these are good. I think we have a mix of like
Jake guys is
potent-
good.
yeah, listen, 50% is potential, 50% is meme, and that's always good content. So
Jake
Can you-
guys are here with this fucking oil hat,
Can you
dude.
put in parentheses after the question marks Tanix?
Damn it.
I think he's
Janik
there
There we go.
somewhere.
guys.
I think he's there somewhere. He's
exactly.
No, now it's Skolas, because Skolas is back. It's
Bro,
Skolas.
Skolas is back now. Nah, I don't even think that's Skolas. I think that's just Tanix with a different helmet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think these are good theme mechanics for Sundered Doctrine. Okay.
Tanix
We'll
is
do.
oven 3.0, dude.
Yeah.
What do we think about the design of the dungeon? Is specifically what I'm asking for. How many bosses? How many encounters? How many bosses? And how many? So when I say encounters, I mean total encounters in the dungeon. So like Vesper's host had, I think 3.
With loot.
Yeah, with loot. There you go. That's a good way
Basically,
to
loot drop
describe it.
encounters.
Yep. And to differentiate them, there are boss encounters where you have to kill a boss, like with a giant health pool, and the other one is similar to trying to think. There's no boss involved, so it's either there's a boss or no boss.
I'm going on a limb here.
Sure.
3 encounters total, 2 bosses, 1 encounter. That's
Okay.
that's been their bread and butter for God knows how long. So 2 bosses, 1 just encounter.
In what order?
Bosses at the first encounter.
Probably boss encounter, boss, I think. Or no, actually just an encounter for the final encounter. Just an encounter, no boss.
I think 5 bosses, 1 encounter, all 5 bosses in 1 encounter before that encounter.
Oh, I'm gonna write that down. Which one was yours, Eddie? It was 1 non-boss, then 2 bosses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing more than 3. It's almost always been 3.
How many encounters was in the
Vespers was 3.
The first dungeon they released, the one with the 9, and that taken captain
That wasn't the first dungeon.
No, well, whatever dungeon that was. Didn't
First
that one have
good-
4?
The first good dungeon.
Yeah, first good dungeon. Yeah, shadows don't suck. Okay, no one cares about that one.
Hit a heresy.
Oh, Paris
Terrible.
was so good.
Like a hit of shit.
Yeah, but that one was
Damn.
just 2. That one was 2 encounters, 1 boss.
Bit of caca.
5 bosses all in 1 encounter, and then after that, there's 1 more encounter. There's not a final boss; it's a final encounter.
Evil Levante. Oh,
It's just evil Levante throwing cookies at you. You just gotta dodge
Boom.
them. You can't kill her, or else you end Christmas. So it's,
J.K. is the Alex Jones of Destiny, dude.
What do you
Lizard
think,
people.
Michael?
they're
Rods.
turning the frickin' Elixir gay.
I was gonna say maybe like 4 encounters. only 'cause
Poisoning
it's
their
the last one.
Ether supply.
Poisoning the dark ether. That's where it came from. Cookies.
Source Scorn is gay listening.
Osiris, gay. Same 14, gay. Marsov, bye.
How do you divide your encounters? Like, what do you think is coming first?
It's probably gonna be like one non-boss, 1 boss, 1 non-boss, 1 boss. I think.
Okay, I'm actually gonna go 2 bosses in that order, and then 1 non-boss as the final encounter.
Careful.
Okay, and I have
Can't forget jumping puzzle.
Of course.
oh, and a jumping puzzle, of course, yeah.
Always
Where do I
jumping
add
puzzle.
that? You want that between
It's
your
always
2
in
bosses?
between.
Yeah. It's always like in the middle ground.
That last encounter versus
It's always
Evil
between
Levante,
the first boss and the last boss.
that last encounter versus Evil Levante, that's where the jumping puzzle is. But we're doing it, but also she's doing it. She could fuck up.
She's jumping with us.
Imagine the AI fails and she just encounter complete.
I just imagine
Like
like you two or like the fire teams like all on like a DDR pad, and then she's also on one, and like you just duke it out with like some music playing in the background.
Nah, dude, it's a
High score
Mario
wins.
Party freaking mini game, dude. With Evil
it's-
Levante.
No, it's DDR mixed with Tetris 99, that Tetris Battle Royale. So every time you get certain things right, it gives her an obstacle that can fuck her up, but every time she gets something right, it gives you it gives your team an obstacle.
It's gonna be the jumping, little jumping puzzle from Riven's or the Riven raid.
It's just only up.
Oh,
Okay, let's talk first encounter. I can go first with this one. What do we think is going to be, or like, how would you design the first encounter for this dungeon? That's basically what I'm asking. So
I am not
going
in
to
game
say,
design here, brother.
well, yeah, we're just guessing. If you want to leave it to the wheel, we could do that too.
Okay, so like I said, first encounter, 5 bosses. One is Tannix. One is Skolas.
Light blade and dark blade.
One is, the next one is just Blade.
It's just blade. the edgiest of all.
It's just we just call him Blade. He's not light, he's not dark, he's just Blade. Third one, Tannix again, but the Tannix from the end of Deepstone Crypt.
Shank Tannis.
Yes, Shank Tannix.
Dude, Tannix is straight up just Rotom from Pokemon.
And then the fourth one is, or the fifth one, I should say.
Ever Restore.
The fifth one is no. The fifth one is what's her name's Hawk, Hawthorne's Hawk.
Oh, fuck, I don't even
Lewis?
know its name. Is it
Lewis.
Lotus? Lewis?
Lewis. Yeah, it's Lewis.
Okay, his name is Hawkthorne now.
Okay.
They totally missed a chance there. Like, Bungie totally missed a chance. Like, Hawthorne, what's your bird's name? Hawkthorne. Okay.
Okay, so that's your first encounter. Very creative.
It's. Do I need to like describe what happens in the encounter?
Yeah, if you got mechanics to go with it.
Oh yeah.
A bar fight.
Are you asking if I have mechanics?
Yep. How's it go?
Okay. Okay. First, it's basically, it's arena style. They're coming in one at a time. Except the first deal is they're coming in 2 at a time. It's Skolas riding on the back of Shank Tannix. They come flying in. When you get them to a certain health point, regular Tannix and Blade then come out. I'm gonna have them hell dive in. So drop pod. They come in.
Yeah, but a Cabal drop pod.
Yeah, Cabal drop pod. It can kill you, but it can also kill Shank Tannix and Skolas. So it's kind of up to the AI in certain moments. And then when you get them to a certain health, that's when Hawkthorne comes out. Let's see, what will Hawkthorne do? Hawkthorne comes out, he just flies directly at you. But when he does it, he hits the screen, so it covers your entire screen. And then you have to finish killing the other 4 bosses with a hawk's face, covering your entire monitor. And there you go. Done. Simple.
Yes, simple.
Okay. Okay. From there.
If I'm even 1% correct, I'm gonna take that as a win.
Of course. Well, so 1% being like any of these bosses show up?
Any of those bosses. If any of those bosses are mentioned.
Okay. If any of them are mentioned in the first encounter, then this is 1% correct.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. And then the theme of Christmas and baking cookies. What happens there?
No,
Baking
that's last
cookies.
encounter.
Yeah, that's last encounter. Baking cookies is last
Oh,
encounter.
okay. That's all completely separate. Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna guess that the Taken Essence is going to be used to, what did I say? This could be a boss encounter. It's gonna be Let's see, what do we have here? I don't think we get the subjugator quite yet, but I think we'll probably get something like maybe a tormentor to start. I think maybe just a regular tormentor is gonna be the first boss. And then I think maybe it's a Taken Tormentor, I don't know. And you peel back the Taken essence from the Tormentor to kill it. I could see that maybe. I think you're going to have to take the Taken essence to certain blights around the room. Deposit it or break it to reveal the symbols that are needed to open up damage phase. And I think that is a decent first encounter. Pretty straightforward with stuff that we've seen before and kind of introducing the mechanic of the dungeon. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go. I shall.
Okay, what do you got?
Since I think it has something to do with the sword logic, we're definitely gonna be killing a lot.
We're gonna be killing.
It's gonna be like boomer shooter style.
I love how your theme and mechanics are just killing.
That's like every.
Or just Destiny.
Yeah, it's like every encounter. I think it'll probably have to do with like some symbol type of like obelisk thing that we would have to kill certain individuals.
Big murder is back. I like that.
Big murder.
What murder?
Okay. Symbol obelisk thing to kill certain individuals. Okay. And then you had. Oh, this is your non-boss. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just like introducing the mechanic, symbols tie in with the deaths and all that, building up the energy in the obelisk. Maybe the obelisk gets overrun, turns into like a taken shit. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I like the idea of going into sword logic, and maybe something that would be really cool that I didn't even really consider too much is like, what if there is a dual component, which I think is kind of where yours is going. There's a dual component to kill certain individuals and climb up that pyramid scheme. That'd be kind of neat. Okay.
And game boss Primerica.
What about you, Eddie? Also, do you want me to put Chud or Eddie on here?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You're going with Chuds. So I'm pulling from Vow Disciple here, since that's where we're going. Symbols definitely, but I don't think they're gonna be hive symbols. I think they're gonna be the 32, 50 million fucking symbols that we had on the pyramid ship. First, it's going to be a non-encounter. The first encounter generally teaches mechanics of the whole dungeon, which you use throughout the whole dungeon. I'm thinking, maybe this has to be soloable as well. So getting taken is probably not gonna happen like it does in the King's Fall. I don't know, man. I think there's gonna be. I don't think there's plate mechanics either, pal. I think the first one could be like a.
There's plate mechanics.
I have no fucking clue,
with
man.
the caretaker. If that's what you're talking about.
That might be one of the boss mechanics, not. I don't think that's a normal encounter mechanics.
Okay, fair.
I don't know. I'm not very creative.
It's hard. I mean, anything could happen. I'll say some
Yeah.
things will happen more than others on this list, but anything can happen when it comes to them designing a dungeon. And,
Okay, then I think what I'll say is you'll have light essence and taken essence, kind of like how on that first encounter of Vow, where like light side, you had light side and dark side, and there would be a specific night. I think it may be like taken or light and dark again. I'm not 100% sure, but like you have to kill that knight to find the symbol kind of thing, and then shoot the right symbol. Or it's like there might be a twist where it's opposite. So like I don't know, the symbol that's on dark is the symbol for light, and symbol for light is the symbol for dark. Like it might have a twist to it. It's gonna have a timer too, most likely, because it is contest. But it has to be done within the timer. So I'm thinking you have to kill, kind of in the way that Michael's was, but like you have to kill a certain ad to tell you what symbol to pick.
Big Moira.
yeah. I planned on putting this on YouTube. I don't even know if I
the
can put
best
that
thing.
word on here.
Maybe you have to shoot it with like a taken blight or something. I don't know.
Say that last part.
Like maybe there's like a taken blight that you have to use that only spawns when you do a certain thing.
That'd be tight
similar
if you use
to
a blight in a mechanic.
Say again.
Say
I
that
said,
again?
I said that'd be pretty tight if they use a blight as a mechanic
They did that in Root.
instead of just
with that
shoot
second
people.
boss.
Did they do
Like,
that?
So
in
I
Root?
think your stream is echoing.
Really?
Yeah, it's echoing.
I don't know how. Hold on.
I just work here.
What's echoing?
Discord. Like when I talk, you can hear me clearly, but then in the back, I'm slightly lower.
Oh, it's my headphones. I probably have y'all too loud. That's probably what it is. I'll double check. Hold on.
No, because you're echoing too.
Oh. All right, give me a second. What is going on? What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? Dude, no way. Has the whole thing been... Oh, I know what it fucking is. It's Discord. No. Or I think it is. I think the whole thing that we did today is going to be echoing. Oh my god.
No, I don't think it's the whole thing. I don't think it was doing it earlier.
Oh.
I can go back and look.
I can't think of what it'd be. I don't see anything popping up. Yeah, I don't know how long it's been doing that. It's not doing it anymore.
Did you hear it though?
Yeah, I did. I did hear it. I just don't know like what started that. Damn. Okay. 3-hour session gone. Feels bad, man. Well, I'll
No,
pick
it's
through
not the
video
whole
later.
stream.
Something just fucked up on this end. I don't know what it could have been. I'll take a look after stream, but we can keep going here. All right. So I think that covers the first encounter. So we could probably do the second encounter now. Music's probably a little too loud.
You
here.
know, real quick. I think
What's up?
it could have just been. Are you sure you heard it? Because I think I had 2 tabs of you open.
I heard it. Yeah, I heard the music echoing on my stream. And I didn't have
because I'm looking
tab
at the
open.
VOD and nothing's coming up. It's not echoing when I'm going back in the VOD.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Because I realized I had 2 tabs of you open, but when I just went back to the VOD, and there's no echo for the whole thing.
Huh. Okay. False alarm then. But I do appreciate the heads up. Sometimes that shit does get by me. I'll keep an eye on it and I'll take a look. But I'd rather know now if the VOD is fucked before like I get to the end of the stream like, oh my god, all that work is just gone now.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, cool. Then let's continue with the second encounter. And in J-Kai's case, this is the final encounter.
Hell yeah, it is.
So I don't know if you're still cooking that one up, but you're welcome to go first. Otherwise, I haven't gone first yet. I can go first, unless you're ready.
I can go if you want.
Okay. I think that we are going to get an ogre boss here. And I saw it kind of in the developer live stream. There was an ogre with these shackles on it that had some symbols, and I think that might be boss material for the second encounter. So I think that's gonna match like the cleaning of the taken essence, the unraveling of the taken essence that is going to be around the room, breaking the blights or depositing the taken essence into the blight to like implode. I don't know how that's going to work, but I think we're going to have to reveal the symbols to open up damage phase again. And I don't know what the twist is going to be. Maybe I'm going to kind of steal this idea from what y'all have been saying, but I'd like the idea of maybe you know how with orcs you get sent into like this other room for one of the damage, or like before damage phase, and like eventually everybody gets into the room until you kill this like guy with the sword, right?
Oh, the shade.
Yeah, you kill the shade. I think they might bring back that duel mechanic to kind of dip into the theme of sword logic. May not be the same as the shade, but I think one guardian is going to be selected as the duelist, and eventually all 3 guardians have to win the duel in order to defeat the boss. So maybe it's pre-selected with like the person selecting the symbols on the shackles of the ogre. I don't know yet, but let me write that down and then we can go for whoever wants to go next.
That is a good idea. The only thing I would reiterate, now I know obviously this is gonna be different, is it has to be soloable.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, well, I still want to do the dueling theme. I'll just say
That's
like
still,
not every
that could
guardian
still
has to win.
work. It's just like, yeah, it's just like you still have to go in and fight the shade regardless. But that is a good encounter design. Like you kill the shade in order to like break the shield on the ogre or whatever.
Yeah. That's what I think too, and it feeds into the sword log. I really like that you guys brought that up. I didn't know what that was, and so I want to lean into it because I think you guys really hit something, or like hit the vein of like what they're trying to do with some of the stuff.
Oh, next.
Okay, I'm ready. Go for it.
I think, well, definitely it's going to be an ogre, but it's going to tie
We
in
have to
with
kill.
that we have to kill. Yes, of course.
Big kill.
Big Moida. Now you mentioned the shackles. I think it's gonna be like we have to kill, a certain amount taken by some pillars or the shackles are tied into.
Ooh.
And then from there we get essence to build up and to get into the taken side of it. See symbols and tie that into which pillar it is. Shoot the symbols, break the pillar, damage phase, rinse and repeat.
Can you repeat like the second half? So essence built up to take inside of it. I think I mixed some words up there.
Yeah. So you build the essence by the pillar. You go into the taken, like, whatever the fuck that you get taken, like in that Oryx mechanic. From there, you see symbols around the arena, and you have to decipher them to whatever pillar is relevant, and then destroy the pillar. Rinse and repeat. You have to do it twice and get into a damage phase.
It sounds like slightly reminiscent of the War Priest in King's Fall. Am I wrong?
Fuck. I think you're right.
Well, the pillar part anyway.
No.
I like that. And I think there could be some like good substance to that too.
Did we get taken on War Priest? We did, huh?
No.
No, I don't think so. What's up, Storm Bro? How you doing, man?
It wasn't taken. You hid behind the pillars, but you also.
Someone had a buff to see the
It
symbols on
wasn't
the
taken.
pillar.
It was the aura. It was the brand of the initiate.
Oh, that's right.
You aura.
You had that aura, yeah.
Big murder.
Yeah. The thing that I really like with your dungeon design so far, I like the idea of like feeding an obelisk or feeding a pillar as like sacrifice to create something that you need to advance to the next part of the encounter. I really like that idea, and I feel like that is definitely something very real that they could do in this dungeon. Especially if it aligns with sword logic, right? And the like how all of that works.
Either.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, who wants to go
That'd be
next?
That'd be tight.
I'll go. So what I'm thinking is, yeah, I do think that's a cool idea, but I don't think it fits with the aesthetic of the dungeon. I think if it was more of a hive location, I think it would work. But I think being in the pyramid ship, to me, it doesn't fit that well. My second encounter, I think, I'm gonna kind of pull from J-Kai a little bit here as far as the multi-bosses. Not Tanics.
Let's fucking
Just
go.
the multi-bosses.
Okay.
I think what could happen is you still have some of the same mechanics from the first encounter, because again, they like to build. The first encounter teaches you, second builds on it, third is the final with all of them. Second encounter, I think it could be not an arena, but you have, if you remember all of the guys in like resin from the raid. I don't know if you remember them, like the Cabal and the Hive and all those guys in the orange resin. I think maybe some of those get taken, possibly kind of hop down from the wall or whatever, and you have like a couple different mini bosses that you have to fight, or maybe it's two, kind of like Shield Brothers. Could be the final boss as well, but you have two like the Shield Brothers, and they kind of like bounce off each other. So like, if you damage one, like if you kill one, then the other one gets its power, kind of thing, or if you kill one and the other one gets its power. But obviously it's going to build on the Taken Essence idea from the first encounter, where like you have to kill a certain ad that's tied to one, and possibly that ad kills the opposite that it's mirroring, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Say that last part again.
Something to do with like you have to kill certain ads that like if the boss A, there's another ad that's tied to boss A, but it actually takes down boss B's shield. I feel like there's gonna be twists like that where it's like the opposite.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think that is pretty real too, because we had a multi-boss encounter in King's Fall as well.
So I'm thinking that could also be a final boss kind of thing, but I feel like a final boss is, I do agree, it's probably going to be a subjugator or something like that, considering the locale that we're in.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like the idea of multi-bosses as well, and I like the idea that like focusing it's like a pick your poison kind of thing, and you can do it in any order, but like you essentially just pick the ones that you want. They talked a lot about like kiss or curse kind of boons in the seasonal, or I'm saying seasonal, but I guess it's ritual, right? The ritual activity.
Same thing. It's a seasonal activity, yeah.
Yeah. That would be really neat to see them dive into like kiss curse kind of thing. Like, okay, you pick your poison. What do you want to deal with first? What do you want to deal with next? Because then it allows like guardians to really play with their economy and plan accordingly based off of like, you know, how they're built and how they want to build. You know, I think that'd be like a insane second fight, and I really like that idea.
To say it could be a third, like a final boss fight, but I don't know. I just started thinking about the aesthetic of the pyramid, and like I thought, well, all those ads that are stuck in that like resin stuff, like what if one of them got taken and became alive and you had to like fight them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What if you got to choose which ones you wanted to fight too? I think there's so much like possibility for what you've
that would be
proposed
cool
here. Yeah, that's a really neat idea. I like that a lot. Okay, honestly, guys, we kind of cooked on the second encounter. I want to hear J-Kai's cook now.
Dude, we should work at Bungie. I mean, they'll fire us by the end of the year, but we should work there.
They'll fire us the moment we get in there, dude.
All right, J-Kai, I want to hear about these cookies, bro.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
technically your last
Like,
encounter,
I
isn't
have
it?
nothing.
Yeah, this is my last encounter. Now I know what you're thinking. Did I use this time wisely to create something magical? I'm playing Hades on the Switch, so no.
Okay. Would you like to build a random encounter with the roulette wheel?
I have an idea for half the encounter, and the other half of the encounter, I'm going to use the wheel.
Sounds good. Okay, what do you got?
Okay. First half of the encounter, because I need to get these cookies in here. So, and I've been trying to think, how can I make this still soloable already? Here we go. Cookie time. DDR. DDR, but on the ground, instead of the usual steps, it's different cookies. You gotta bake the cookies in sync with them coming up on your screen, and then drop them on the pad that matches them. All the while you're doing this, Eva Levante is doing the same thing. She's across the way looking at you. She's doing the same thing, but either one of you can fuck up. Occasionally you'll get a chance to fuck her up. She'll get a chance to fuck you up. I haven't quite figured out how that goes yet. I'm thinking.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I have an idea.
Yeah, Guitar Hero, you know what I mean? When you're dueling somebody.
I was just about to say that, yo.
Star power.
Yes.
Yep. You gotta get the whammy bar's broken. You gotta slam that shit down, or you got extra notes, or you got extra cookies that aren't the right cookies,
And if you fuck it up, one of those pumpkin-headed hives shows up and hits you. I don't know. I wanted to throw in Halloween too for some reason. So anyway,
the haunted ones.
After you complete that, you have to hit a certain score threshold. Once you hit that, then it's the jumping puzzle. But it's not just you doing the jumping puzzle, she's doing the jumping puzzle too. But you gotta be quicker than her. Because if you're fast enough, you can hit pads on the way up that activate, the wall in King's Fall that pushes out and can launch you.
Oh, the dick wall?
Yes.
Yeah. If you hit a pad, one of those pops up and can launch her, or if she hits one before you do, it can pop out and launch you. So then you do that all the way up the jumping puzzle until you get to the final arena. And this is where I'm going to use the wheel. I don't know what's gonna happen in there. I don't necessarily want a
Okay.
boss fight.
You just want some mechanics?
I kind of just want mechanics.
Okay, so Eva Levante is the last boss, and her mechanics will be breaking news. We're gonna go to our roulette wheel.
Yeah, I just want mechanics because I don't want to kill her because then it kills Christmas. There's no more Christmas without Eva Levante. I hate her and she's evil, but she's a necessary evil.
No, but then it'll move to Tess Everest, and you'll have to pay. You have to pay for the cookies.
How many mechanics
kill her.
does Eva Levante have?
Ooh.
How many you got on the wheel?
Let's say three. Let's say three max. Let's say three.
Three max? Okay, I'll take the max then.
All right. First mechanic
Right,
for Eva
she's
Levante.
gonna have, let's see.
Aggro mechanic. Okay. You know, she's pissed that you interfered with her DDR. And she wants revenge. I like that.
Yep,
She's just
aggro.
vibing.
Second mechanic.
Come on.
Oh my god, there's clones. This is sounding
Multiple
insane right
Eva
now.
Levantes. Each of
Christmas
them-
clones.
There's
Oh,
gonna be
represent a holiday?
Yep. There's a Christmas themed one. There's a Halloween themed one. There's a solstice one.
Oh,
This is
God.
okay. How do we tie this up? What is like the cherry on top for this insane encounter? Which, by the way, sounds really fun. If it fit into like anything else that they did.
Come on, random Tanic spawn.
Team split. Oh, that would have been a good one. Team split versus all the clones. That sounds insane.
Yeah, you guys split up and you fight a clone. It splits the whole team and each person fights their own clone. Since it's a dungeon, it's max 3. It matches perfectly. Halloween clone, Christmas clone, solstice clone. It all works out, guys. And then after you defeat the clones, we get a cutscene, and she gets trapped. What can she get trapped? You trap her soul in the oven, and then you only bring it out for holidays. There we go.
Beautiful dungeon.
So we
I'd love
turn
to see
her into
that.
a genie.
Yep, she's basically the
The
holiday,
holiday
genie.
genie.
She is the holiday genie.
Oh god.
All right, and the final encounter. Anybody cooked anything up?
Well, it's another
I-
non-boss for me.
I'll do mine because I have to go to bed.
okay, sounds good.
So for my final boss encounter, this wouldn't happen because you would have to have jumping puzzle in between.
Oh,
But-
okay, right.
We'll say, okay, so you're jumping to the next encounter, you get to the final encounter, right? Now the two bosses you thought you just killed because they were taken weren't dead. They show up again. But then, kind of like, what boss? I forgot which strike it was. Where you're supposed to fight that Minotaur, but then that Cabal guy comes in and crushes it. Same thing.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know that one.
So instead, you have those two bosses that are like ready to fight, and then the Subjugator comes out of nowhere and crushes them. And then the encounter starts. And then again, it's kind of the same mechanics building on it. You know, kind of yin and yang kind of thing. Kind of looking for certain ads to take down the shield. Imagine there's some. I wouldn't say you can get taken, considering it has to be soloable. But I mean, as far as mechanics go, I have no idea. But
Would
for
you like to
boss
spin the
entrance,
wheel?
That'd be sick. Spin it, yeah, spin that.
Spin the
motherfucker.
wheel. How many mechanics does this subjugator have?
Probably 3. Final boss
mechanics.
at the end of the dungeon.
What do we got? Plate mechanic. You called that earlier. Second mechanic. Sequences. I can't remember. I guess we meant in like the terms of maybe like Vault of Glass with the like shooting the things in order,
Oracles.
right? Oracles, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then finally, clones again. The Dungeon of Clones.
Let's fucking go.
All right. So we have sequences, clones, and then plates.
All right. So then my thought. So if those were my 3 mechanics. So boss comes in, crushes those 2 guys, right? Boss is immune at the beginning, of course. So you have plates. Now you have a limited use of these plates, because every time you step on a plate and fully, like, build it up, you spawn in a clone, a mini boss clone, so a mini subjugator or a tormentor. Now you have to kill this tormentor to get a buff that shows you symbols. Now you have to go to the other plate, spawn another tormentor or a clone to kill that one to show you the sequence. So the first plate gives you the ability to see the symbols, second plate gives you the ability to see the sequence. What was the other one? It was sequence, clones, and what?
You got them all. We got the sequence, we got the plates, and we got the clones.
Clones and plates. Yeah. So after you shoot the correct sequence, you breaks boss shield, damage time, then rinse and repeat.
Nice. Beautifully done. Okay. Michael, do you have one, or I can go next if you're still cooking?
Go ahead and go next.
Okay. I'm gonna try and wrap it
I
up.
do gotta go, boys.
Okay, that sounds good, man. Thank you very much for joining. I will let you guys know when this goes up, if it goes up, if it's not messed up, and I'd love to do this again after the dungeon and before next season.
Yeah, this was actually, I really enjoyed this. It was nice.
Sweet. All right.
I think next time, hopefully, we can get Michael in here, because I think he would have loved talking about it.
I think so too. I'll work on organizing this a little bit better. All right.
Well, he just ended up getting sick.
Yeah. Also, I don't want it to take 3 or 4 hours to get through this next time, so I'll try to streamline it a little bit better and be more focused with some of the stuff, and then leave like a forum at the end to talk about whatever we missed or something. Because I think I enjoyed what we talk about, but I want to cut down some of it so that everybody has a chance to like talk about everything and doesn't have to leave early. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
So on that note, really happy with all the insight that you brought, and with basically what everybody brought, and we will do this again. I love this.
All right. I will talk to you all later.
Later, man.
Good night, sir.
All right. You said you want me to go next?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I know that this is probably not going to be good. I identified this as a non-boss encounter, and I actually think we're going to go through the process of like redeeming Oryx in a way where he is going to come back. Like, I think that's probably not going to happen because it is a dungeon, but I'm going to swing for the fences on this anyway and say it's going to happen. To the point where, like, I think that it would be a nice way to tie up the theme of what we think Sundered Doctrine is going to be, where he becomes free of whatever he was bound to before. So I'm going to say that this final encounter is resurrecting him in a way where he's finally unchained from his chains. So, with that being said, this is going to be, I like the idea of using, I'm gonna take your idea. I'm gonna take the idea of the obelisk and the pillars where you're killing things, big murder, to feed the obelisk and reveal the symbols. I really like that idea a lot. I think for this particular encounter, that could probably work. to reveal the symbols, and I feel like we're gonna get some plates in this one too. And I think maybe the subjugator, like the taken subjugator, makes an appearance, but he doesn't, like, we're not actually able to do damage to them or to him. He'll summon like other taken enemies that we have to go through, probably per plate. I like Eddie's idea of like them spawning when you touch the plate to activate them, and then maybe you can activate the plates in any order that you want. You know, I'm thinking Ghost of the Deep, you could have done the symbols in any order that you want for the Lucent Hive. So I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I think the thing I want to settle on as like I'm putting all my chips in for my take is that it's some sort of ritual to resurrect orcs in some capacity. So I'm going to write that down real quick.
I was gonna say you could do, because you were talking about the. Is this a boss fight or more a mechanics fight?
So I went with non-boss fight.
Okay.
The Taken Subjugator will be present, but he'll be more like the commander of like. He'll dictate the flow of the battle for whatever we're fighting.
You could have it that you're taking energy from him during this ritual, and that's what's finishing the ritual to resurrect Oryx. So it's
That's a
like
good
he
call.
still has a health bar and it's going down, but you're not doing it with damage, you're doing it with encounters. So I have seen like a lot of I've seen some creators or some Destiny creators that came to that conclusion as a way to mitigate, because they're always trying to mess with weapons and slow down like huge power or huge chunks of damage being done and stuff like that, and just big raid boss health bars just disappearing in an instance. And the way they were doing that was having health gates, but no one likes health gates.
Yeah, everybody hates those.
Yeah.
True.
So one would be to do damage through through encounters instead. So you do the encounter and you do it right, and you could have like mini bosses as part of the encounter, so you get that feeling of doing damage. But the main boss is just like his health bar is in like 4 chunks, and each encounter takes away a chunk or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I think that could happen. I don't think that the Taken Subjugator is going to be a huge figure going forward, but I think using him as like part of the encounter to... Oh, you know what'd be sick is actually if he killed the Subjugator as he's risen, you know? That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool. Like he gets up and then, or it's like you don't know if it worked or something, and you just see a sword come through the subjugator from the back.
The final like link in the chain broken by him striking down the Subjugator. Oh, that'd be so sick, actually. All right, and last but not least, Michael, what do you think the last encounter will look like?
Well, I got 2 encounters left still.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah. Give me your next encounter.
I think that 3rd encounter, since non-boss encounter will be introducing a new mechanic, kind of like how you mentioned with the pads and how you have to step on them. But instead, they will probably reveal a hive symbol that correlates to what pillar needs to get destroyed versus just symbols. So it's one plate, 2 pillars, and from there you step on the plate, see a symbol close by that refers to that pillar, and then from there find other symbols that correlate to it to destroy it. But you still have to build up the taking energy and all that crap to see those secondary symbols. And that'll be pretty much it. 2 runs of
I like
that.
that.
Wish wash, wish whoosh. Encounter done.
Okay.
And obviously, stepping on those plates, big badder enemies comes out. Thus, big murder happens.
I like that. Okay. Big murder. Oh, I forgot to write that. I really don't know if I can write that for a YouTube video, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
And I think for the last encounter, it's going to be a mix of those 2 mechanics between the first and third encounter. But since I think that this has something to do with, well, obviously it's not really going to do with Zero Wrath, but it'd be a cool idea, was that you guys are contesting the throne for her taken plane. So, it'd be pillars. I don't know how I could tie that in. Well, yeah, you step on the pad. Xivu Wrath is floating around, kind of how freaking Light Blade is, trying to smack you up. But also yellow bars and crap like that spawn when you step on the plate to correlate whatever pillar it is. So you get the symbols ready, or the second set of symbols ready once you energize the pillar, and then you go into a DPS phase. Bing bang bada boom. You beat the crap out of Xivu Wrath, and you learn ticket powers. You take the lady and you ride the sunset.
So confirmed here, you're saying that Xivu is making an appearance in the dungeon.
I think so.
Ooh, okay.
That'd be tight. I don't think it'll happen, but it'd be tight.
It's kind of offensive because it's like, hey, your siblings each got their own expansion. Here's a dungeon.
I think, dude, honestly, I think that's how they're giving the treatment for her. Just the fact that, at the end of that season, we didn't get shit other than just cutting her from her throne world, and after that, she just disappears. No.
Dang. I mean, that would be really cool to see. I know the community would be up in arms for this kind of thing, but I've only heard of Xivu Wrath. I would love to, actually experience some sort of content with her soon. She sounds so awesome to go up against.
That season was so cool, too. I'm just sad that that's the way they ended it.
We just didn't buy enough silver.
I know, dude.
We just bought more silver. They would have done it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to do a couple versions of the dungeon completely randomized, but I think we've done a lot. We've covered a lot today, and asking for 3.5 hours of y'all's time. I think we have made some good predictions. I think we've gotten over some really good points, and maybe next time we can do the random thing. I might do it in my own time just to kind of see what could come up, and then I'll do it on stream too. That way you guys can see how I wanted it to go down. But overall, I was really happy with what happened today, and I very much appreciate that you guys took the time out to do something like this. And I think Jake had mentioned, would we be playing while we're having the discussion? And I think it'd be cool to incorporate something like that as well. But I don't know what it would be, because I think there's so many things to talk about and so many things to cover. So I would love to combine both of those ideas and get us all back together to do the same thing. But I'm going to try
it up again. Yeah, I know my coworker wants us to help him fucking do shit on Destiny as far as the group stuff goes. So it's always in the air.
I refuse.
But Gardner,
you refuse, okay?
I refuse.
Yeah, guys. Is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about before I kind of close it out here?
Oh, yeah. Look at this camera here. This camera here. Let the people know what you're set up for. I don't know.
Oh man, yeah, this was a good time. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. I had fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. And again, thank you for watching. We had a lot of people come on. Just big shout out to J-Kai and Michael and Eddie and Adam and Sean. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody.
How's everybody?
Yeah,
My
I
clone
just
didn't show up.
yeah, huge shout out to everybody that came by and talked and gave their input. There's a lot to look forward to. I think the season looks promising, and excited to see what we were right about and what we were wrong about, and what we were really right about, what we were really wrong about. It should be fun to look in hindsight at some of the stuff we talked about today.
I'm pretty sure everything I said was pretty on point.
Yeah, I think so
I don't
too.
think I don't think I made us. I think every one of my predictions, 100%.
Yeah, it had it all. I mean, how do you reach out to new communities other than bringing in some Guitar Hero, some DDR, and like all of the above? Like, just bring in everything, put it in one encounter versus like the big pillars of the game. Couldn't ask for a better design.
I'm the lore guy in our clan, and I did nothing lore related. I did nothing that ties anything together.
For real.
But yeah, thank you guys again. I'm going to end the